Chapter 65. Just as expected. Just as Lin Yuan had expected, the mutant blood spirit's body exploded once again, turning into a ball of viscous blood. It penetrated through the net and reformed into a human body. A cruel smile appeared on its evil face as it ran towards the humans who had cast the net. Lin Yuan, who was not far away, suddenly felt a tremor in his snake body. In the olfactory imaging, there was obviously a large pool of blood under the net. This mutant blood spirit. It did not seem to be undefeatable. A cold glint flashed across Lin Yuan's blue-white vertical pupils as he stared coldly at the mutant blood spirit that had crashed into the human battle formation. The law of conservation of energy was universal no matter which world it was in. Obviously, this mutant blood spirit was not immune to physical attacks. It could only use some means to turn its physical body into blood and then reassemble. It could use this to quickly escape from control and injuries. However, this method obviously came with a corresponding price. For example, one's own blood. It was hard to say how much blood the mutant blood spirit had in its body. Although it could absorb the blood of others to replenish itself, it was the same as how Lin Yuan gained attribute points from hunting creatures. Only creatures of similar strength could gain the greatest benefits. Otherwise, it would not have been so fixated on Lin Yuan. It was obvious that the level 9 chimpanzee could not satisfy its thirst for blood. As his thoughts raced, Lin Yuan calmed down. Since the other party was not invincible, it meant that the first task was not impossible. Greed was the deep-rooted bad habit of all living creatures. Lin Yuan was no exception. He was not a saint, but compared to some greedy people who valued wealth over their lives, Lin Yuan was more clear-headed. Previously, he felt that the mutant blood spirit was not something he could defeat, so he chose to escape. However, now that he had been targeted by the other party, there was no way to escape. If he fought with all his might, there was still a chance of winning. After all, the mutant blood spirit could transform into blood and reassemble. He still had 2 lives. After the fear in his heart was completely expelled, Lin Yuan also completely calmed down. He stared coldly at the temporary camp that the human side had set up. Those heavily armored warriors could use their battle formations to defend against the great demons of Wisdom Realm, but clearly, they could not defend against the mutated blood spirits. This was because the mutated blood spirits seemed to have no weaknesses. Whether it was the collision of 2 tower shields or the slashing of broadswords, there was almost no way to hurt them. As he watched the battle, Lin Yuan's eyes grew brighter and brighter. As the number of times the mutant blood spirit regenerated increased, its speed and strength were constantly weakening. Although the heavy armor warriors could not kill it, it could not easily kill them either. Its teeth could easily tear through the flesh of a Class 9 demon beast, but against a heavy armor that could withstand the attack of a Wisdom Realm Great Demon Beast, it clearly couldn't do much. For a moment, both sides were anxious. Peak of level 9? Or is he at level 10? Fortunately, it didn't exceed my limit. Lin Yuan didn't even blink. He just stared at the mutant blood spirit's movements. After observing for a while, Lin Yuan's figure leaped out like a ghost. His huge snake body rushed to the front of the human battle formation in an instant, allowing the broadswords to fall on his golden body. Tail attack. With a tricky tail swing, Lin Yuan directly hit the 2 heavy armor warriors in front of him, causing them to retreat continuously. Compared to the great demons of wisdom who had to protect their vitals, Lin Yuan, who was in the state of golden body release, was not something that these humans could easily break through and injure. Therefore, he did not have any scruples when he attacked. The 5-man battle formation was broken in an instant. Lin Yuan's snake body directly came to the center of the battle formation. This was the cannon fire formation. The capture net that the other party had thrown out just now was also projected from here. Monster. Run! With Lin Yuan's entrance, these humans who were operating the cannons immediately let out a series of screams. They no longer dared to continue controlling the cannons to suppress the great demons of wisdom in front of them. Instead, they all held their heads and fled to the back. The heavy armor warriors who were fighting the great demons of wisdom in front of them were all in the airborne realm. This was because only then could they hold up their heavy armor and pose a threat to the great demons of wisdom. However, these cannoneers did not have such strict requirements for their cultivation level. Most of them were only at level 6 or 7. When faced with the terrifying existence that killed the level 9 monster in an instant, they did not even have the courage to resist. Lin Yuan did not chase after them. He just swung his snake tail and completely crushed these cannons that were similar to the redcoat cannons. Heavy armor warriors of the airborne realm were not existences that he could kill. Lin Yuan also did not have to chase these low-level cannoneers to death. Why waste energy on something that did not benefit him? Roar! The blood spirit's low roar was heard again. Lin Yuan turned his head and saw the mutant blood spirit, which was surrounded by 5 heavy armor warriors, roaring at the sky. It was then wrapped in scarlet threads all over its body. While the 5 heavy armor warriors sensed danger, they obviously did not think that the mutant blood spirit could do any harm to them. They raised the tower shields in their hands at the same time, squeezing the mutant blood spirit in the middle and charging at the same time. Boom! The mutant blood spirit stared at Lin Yuan with a sinister smile on its face. The next moment, its body suddenly exploded. Thick pillars of blood shot out and hit the tower shields that were capable of withstanding the attacks of the great demons of wisdom, washing the shields into pieces. Immediately afterward, the heavy armor warriors, who had most of their bodies pressed against the tower shields, were also hit by the pillars of blood and were sent flying backward. Such damage was obviously not enough to directly kill the 5 airborne realm humans who were protected by heavy armor, but it was enough to make them fall hard to the ground, unable to get up for a long time. After completing the self-destruction, the body of the mutant blood spirit condensed again. However, this time, the mutant blood spirit's face looked a lot paler, but its eyes were very determined. It walked towards Lin Yuan step by step, seemingly wanting to suck the blood in Lin Yuan's body dry to replenish itself. Hiss hiss. Lin Yuan flicked its tongue and coiled its body, staring at the mutant blood spirit with its blue-white vertical eyes. At this moment, the mutant blood spirit was undoubtedly at its weakest, but Lin Yuan's condition was not reduced by much. Whoosh! The pitch-black snake body shot out. Before the mutant blood spirit could make a move, Lin Yuan had already made the first move. Death coil! Under the adjustment of the great power of the system, Lin Yuan's huge body was tightly wrapped around the body of the mutant blood spirit. Chapter 66. The mutant blood spirit and Lin Yuan's eyes clashed in midair, and the pungent smell of blood began to spread. The humans all around them moved away from the 2 monsters, but there was still some fear in their eyes. Such beings were not something they could fight. Even if they were to kill those 2 monsters, they would have to pay an extremely heavy price. Lin Yuan coiled his snake body in circles. His 40-meter-long snake body did not seem cumbersome at all, but his blue-white vertical eyes were somewhat cold. He was not so arrogant as to think that he was a match for humans in the airborne realm. Those heavy-armored warriors were only armed with standard weapons issued by the City Lord's office. If it were the demon slayers who were more wealthy, they would have definitely been armed with weapons that were not inferior to the golden dragon saber. Against such beings, Lin Yuan's golden body might not have been able to withstand them. Even those heavy-armored warriors who were not armed with divine weapons were still not people he could kill. The mutant blood spirit licked its lips and a bloodthirsty smile appeared on its face. At the next moment, Lin Yuan and the mutant blood spirit rushed at each other almost at the same time. When Lin Yuan wrapped the mutant blood spirit with death coil, the mutant blood spirit opened its mouth, revealing a mouthful of white fangs, and bit at Lin Yuan's golden body in a frenzy. Faced with such a frenzied attack, the area that was bitten by the mutant blood spirit also showed visible cracks. Lin Yuan was equally ruthless, and the speed of his body rotation was adjusted to the maximum. Every time the snake body rolled over the mutant blood spirit, the oppressive force was not inferior to the tank tracks of his previous life. The proficiency of death entanglement in the proficiency model jumped crazily. It was obvious that such a desperate battle was very beneficial for the growth of the skill. PFFTT. With a crisp sound, the mutant blood spirit was unable to withstand the pressure brought about by Lin Yuan's death coil. It exploded into a clump of viscous blood, flowing to a place about 3 meters away from Lin Yuan, and reformed into a human form. The hostility in its eyes dissipated significantly, and there was even a hint of shock. How could the body of this level 8 beast be so tough? Just a moment ago, he had bitten so crazily that even a 10th level monster beast would have a piece of flesh torn off. However, the dark golden snake in front of him had only been bitten to the point that its skin had cracked. Not even a drop of blood had been squeezed out. Tail attack. Before the mutant blood spirit could launch another attack, Lin Yuan's attack had already broken through the seal. The terrifying wind whistled as if it was going to tear the forest apart. The mutant blood spirit was indeed at the end of its tether. Although its skin was pale last time, it was still able to maintain its human form. But this time, its skin had become somewhat transparent, just like a ghost. No bones, no internal organs, which means no fatal injuries? Lin Yuan continued to attack while thinking quickly. If he wanted to defeat this mutant blood spirit, he would have to force it to explode its body continuously, making it weaker and weaker. However, in this way, Lin Yuan would not be able to complete the mission assigned by the system. This was because the only way to kill the mutant blood spirit was to make it explode continuously until it completely dissipated. However, in this way, Lin Yuan would not be able to devour it. The system's failure penalty was no joke. If it said it would die, it would definitely die. Could it be that eating it alive? A bold idea suddenly sprouted in Lin Yuan's mind. However, Lin Yuan's eyes showed obvious hesitation. Although he had already adapted to his identity as a monster beast, devouring flesh and even eating humans did not have any psychological burden to him. However, this mutant blood spirit was obviously not to be trifled with. Lin Yuan even thought of the journey to the west that he had seen in his previous life. Many monsters had swallowed Sun Wukong into their stomachs, but because they were unable to digest Sun Wukong, their soft internal organs were beaten up and they could not wait to kneel down and call him daddy. If this mutant blood spirit was the same, it would enter Lin Yuan's body and devour his internal organs and blood before bursting out of his body. Then, Lin Yuan would be deader than dead. Chap chap. The mutant blood spirit did not know Lin Yuan's thoughts and began to mutter softly. Soon, the blood left behind by the monster beasts at the beginning was mobilized by the mutant blood spirit to form a blood-red long saber that was absolutely not inferior to Lin Yuan's snake body. It slashed down at Lin Yuan. Yes, there was a lot of flesh and blood nearby, but it was almost useless to the mutant blood spirit. Because it had been exposed to the air for too long, the spiritual energy contained in the blood had completely dissipated. Even if it devoured the blood, it would not be of any help to itself. It was like a refugee eating soil in a disaster. Although it was full for a short period of time, its body had no way of digesting the soil that it had eaten, nor was there any way to expel it. In the end, it would be bloated to death. Therefore, the only use of the blood for it was to be used as a weapon to attack, similar to Lin Yuan's innate ability to control water. As the mutant blood spirit continued its attack, Lin Yuan's coiled snake body shot out again. Accompanied by a series of puff, puff, puff sounds, the huge blood saber that fell from the sky completely collapsed when it fell on Lin Yuan's body and turned back into a pool of blood on the ground. Failing its attack, the mutant blood spirit's eyes suddenly revealed a touch of panic. It stomped on the ground and retreated rapidly. However, the speed of the mutant blood spirit and Lin Yuan were originally almost the same. This time, it was Lin Yuan who made the first move. Naturally, he caught up with the mutant blood spirit very quickly. For Lin Yuan, it was not difficult at all to open its bloody mouth and swallow the mutant blood spirit with the size of a normal person. He ate it? A heavy armor warrior who had been blown away by the mutant blood spirit looked at the scene in front of him in disbelief. Just a moment ago, the mutant blood spirit was invincible and had even chased the black snake all the way here. How could it be so easily swallowed by the black snake? The answer was impossible. After swallowing the mutant blood spirit, Lin Yuan realized that something was wrong before the system's familiar prompt sounded. However, at the next moment, waves of tearing feeling continued to spread throughout his body, making Lin Yuan feel even more pain than before. Stimulated by the intense pain, Lin Yuan's eyes flashed with ferocity. He immediately cast his gaze on the heavy armor warriors who had yet to recover. How many attribute points could a human in the airborne realm bring him? Would killing all 5 of them be enough for him to rise to level 10? It was obvious that the tearing feeling in his body was getting worse, and that mutant blood spirit should be gradually recovering. Even if Lin Yuan had one chance to heal all of his injuries in an instant, it might not be enough. Chapter 67. Enduring the pain and the desire to kill, Lin Yuan put all his remaining attribute points into defense. Host, Lin Yuan status, Big Black Snake, Evolvable, Realm, 9 out of 10 talent, 1. Identify enemy's location based on smell, unable to evolve, 2. Create an accurate image of a 500-meter radius based on smell, 0/100, 3. Water/ice control, 0 out of 100, speed, 14 defense, 14. 7 attack, 14 distributable points, 0 martial arts, golden body secrets, 40/75, skills, 1. Death coil, 34 of 300, 2. Venom enhancement, 2 out of 100, 3. Tail strike, 17 out of 100, item. Light feather chance to molt X1 when Lin Yuan advanced to a level 9 monster. The dark gold color on the snake's body instantly faded, and it grew again, reaching an exaggerated length of 75 meters. Lin Yuan wasn't sure why he was a big black snake and not a big black python in the eyes of the system. The largest snake he knew of in his previous life was only the Titan python, with an average length of 9 to 13 meters. It was said that the largest one was only 15 meters. And this kind of huge monster in his previous life was like an earthworm in front of the current Lin Yuan. It wasn't even enough for him to eat. You're calling me a snake with this? Then the pythons of this world, however, Lin Yuan wasn't too conflicted. From the 5 heavy armor warriors who couldn't get up again, he randomly chose a lucky spectator and rushed to the opponent's side without hesitation, directly biting half of the opponent's body. Lin Yuan didn't have any intention of letting the other 4 go. Death coil 4 times in a row. Although Lin Yuan's technique couldn't do it, the system's skills could adjust Lin Yuan's body. So, in the blink of an eye, the other 4 heavy armor warriors were directly entangled by Lin Yuan's huge snake body. However, the heavy armor on their bodies was something that could withstand the attacks of Wisdom Realm great demons. Regardless of whether it was Lin Yuan's bite or death coil, they were all firmly blocked by that layer of heavy armor. Although the rest of the heavy armor warriors wanted to come over and help, after Lin Yuan destroyed the cannon formation, the remaining Wisdom Stage Great Yao roared and charged into the battlefield. The already small number of heavy armor warriors became increasingly understaffed. Seeing that Lin Yuan was temporarily unable to deal with their 5 comrades, they all turned their attention to the remaining Great Yao. Under the suppression of Lin Yuan's terrifying power, the 5 human beings at the airborne realm did not even have a chance to struggle. They knew very well that although Lin Yuan couldn't do anything to them for the time being, they would be exhausted to death by Lin Yuan if they didn't have any water or food to replenish themselves. Boom! A loud noise was heard. Lin Yuan was entangled with the 5 heavy armor warriors. The snake's body kept slapping and thrashing on the ground. Even Lin Yuan's body had some bloody wounds from time to time. It was obvious that Lin Yuan was using a lot of force every time he hit the ground. At the moment, he was completely with the mentality of dying together with his enemies. In addition to Lin Yuan, who took the brunt of the impact head-on, and the 5 heavy armor warriors entangled by him, even the mutant blood spirit that was wreaking havoc in his body was affected at the moment. This, Jiao Shi and Men Du, who had been paying attention to Lin Yuan, could not help but click their tongues. What kind of grudge does this guy have with humans? He even resorted to such a self-destructive method just to kill 5 heavy armor warriors who were already seriously injured? Ding! Congratulations to the host for killing an airborne realm human. 5 attribute points are awarded. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the first kill across a realm. 1 skill draw is rewarded. Under Lin Yuan's self-destructive attack, the first heavy armor warrior was quickly killed. The pleasant system prompt also sounded in Lin Yuan's ears. Without the slightest hesitation, Lin Yuan directly put all 5 attribute points on defense. The golden body secrets could only form a layer of golden body on the surface of the body, which would prevent a certain amount of damage from the opponent. Before the golden body was broken, it would also be immune to damage such as broken limbs and bleeding. However, it was obvious that the golden body secrets was only a cultivation method given by the system. It was not so powerful that Lin Yuan would be invincible in the world if he mastered it. At the very least, his body was still a fatal weakness. However, one's own defense was a comprehensive data. It was not only the skin and muscles, but also the strength of the internal organs. Of course, if it were not for the existence of the mutant blood spirit in his body, Lin Yuan would have been more inclined to put the attribute points into attack or speed. After all, he was a predator, not a turtle. Ding! Congratulations to the host for killing an airborne realm human. 5 attribute points are awarded. Another system electronic voice sounded. Lin Yuan's eyes revealed a look of contemplation. Whether it was humans or monsters, even if a freak like Lin Yuan was excluded, there was still a gap between people of the same level. It was just like how cats were always the nemesis of snakes in the natural world. The second heavy armor warrior to die was obviously much stronger than the first heavy armor warrior, But the attribute points given by the system were all 5 points. Obviously, this was the malice of the Russian nesting doll system. It should be because Lin Yuan's realm had not yet reached the wisdom state, so the system deducted a portion of his attribute points. Otherwise, Lin Yuan would not have received different attribute points based on the strength of the level 9 monster when he killed it. Without hesitation, he put 3 attribute points into defense again. Lin Yuan's body expanded to a terrifying height of 100 meters again, and an inexplicable aura condensed on Lin Yuan's body. Demonic aura. Only monsters in the wisdom realm could condense demonic aura. When facing low-level monsters, monsters in the wisdom realm could simply release their own demonic aura and scare them to the point that they could not move. It was similar to the murderous aura that Lin Yuan had honed, and the bloodline pressure that the Jiao snake had released on Lin Yuan. However, this kind of strange aura could be used as a temporary control technique. Perhaps against those who had no desire to live. Just the aura alone could control the other party until the moment of their death. However, like in the novels of his previous life, just the aura alone could cause the other party to explode and die. Obviously, it was not possible. Leveled up again? Mendu saw that Lin Yuan had evolved from a level 9 demonic beast to a level 10 demonic beast in just a few minutes in front of him. His heart was greatly shocked. Since when was leveling up as easy as drinking water for monsters? Moreover, this guy was a little too strange. At level 7, he could actively communicate with other monsters through his mind. Now that he had just reached level 10, he could condense the demonic aura that only monsters in the wisdom realm had. Didn't this mean that this guy could step into the wisdom realm at any time? Were the young monsters nowadays also terrifyingly talented? Not only was Mendo shocked, but even the Jiao snake, who was at odds with Lin Yuan, had a cold look in its eyes. Chapter 68. Be it humans or monsters present, all of them were completely shocked by Lin Yuan's 2 consecutive breakthroughs in a short period of time. However, the difference was that the Gate Capital had some friendship with Lin Yuan. It believed that Lin Yuan would become a powerful ally of the Stone's Hard clan after he grew up. The Jiao snake's thoughts were different. It had no friendship with Lin Yuan and even had some dirty thoughts about him. If a terrifying existence like Lin Yuan was allowed to grow, it might not be long before Lin Yuan devoured it. As for the humans, retreat! The human commander's face darkened as he called out to his subordinates. Then, he rushed toward Mountain Rampart City. Back when the mountain-shaking apes attacked Bailing Mountain City, they treated the city guards and the monster slayers as nothing. They even forced the previous city lord of Bailing Mountain City to sign many treaties. Until today, the monster slayers of Bailing Mountain City did not dare to step into the Hengduan Mountains easily. They only dared to collect some low-level spiritual items or hunt some low-level monsters near the monster forest. Therefore, the current city lord of Zhanshan City was actually sent here by the dynasty behind him. Moreover, he had brought along a large group of elite guards. The heavy armored warriors and artillery battalion that were gathered here were just a part of it. Originally, he wanted to take advantage of the birth of Blood Spirit to teach the Hengduan mountain range's demonic beasts a lesson, and let them see clearly who was the true ruler of this continent. However, the mutation of the Blood Spirit and a black snake with almost invincible defense completely ruined their plan. Not to mention the fact that the other monsters in the Hengduan Mountains were coming to their aid. Just the fact that the Wisdom Realm monsters were no longer suppressed by the artillery alone was enough to make them stay here. Kill! A black tiger demon beast with shiny black fur roared angrily. Leading most of the bloodthirsty and warlike demon beasts, they chased in the direction where the humans had fled. Obviously, the humans' blatant violation of the treaty had angered the predators in the Hengduan Mountains. It was unlikely that they would attack Bailing Mountain City again, but it was also impossible for the humans who entered the Hengduan Mountains to escape unscathed. Ding! Congratulations to the host for killing an airborne realm human. 5 attribute points gained. Ding! Congratulations to the host for killing an airborne realm human. 5 attribute points have been awarded. Ding! Congratulations to the host for killing an airborne realm human. 5 attribute points have been awarded. 3 consecutive system notifications rang in his ears. Only then did Lin Yuan loosen his grip on the 5 metal cans that had been completely smashed into mush. Once again, a look of contemplation appeared in his eyes. Damn system, just how many attribute points did it eat from him? When he was at level 8, he was able to gain 5 attribute points for killing an airborne realm human being. Now that he was at level 10, killing an airborne realm human being still gave him 5 attribute points? Roar! A loud and clear voice suddenly sounded in his ears. Ding! Detected the killing intent of the wisdom state demonic beast, Jiao Snake. Activated promotion mission. Appearance of the owl snake. Name, appearance of the owl snake. Description. The current host has already transformed into a level 10 demonic beast. One more step and you will become a true demonic beast. You will also officially become one of the top predators in this stage of the Hengduan Mountains. Unfortunately, the host's previous words did not make the other party feel that the host was a junior with a strong personality. Instead, the other party was worried that the host would launch an attack after becoming a wisdom demonic beast. Therefore, the other party wanted to eliminate the host's existence before the host completely matured. Then go and prove yourself. Tell these prey who the real predator of this forest is. Mission requirement. Kill the Jiao snake and devour it. Mission reward. Activate the next promotion mission. Failure punishment. The host will completely lose the opportunity to advance. Lin Yuan turned his head in confusion and saw the dragon snake, whose body was longer and thicker than his own, rushing toward him at full speed. Its pair of bronze vertical pupils were full of killing intent. This promotion mission for appearance of the owl snake was obviously not that easy to complete. After all, Lin Yuan could rely on his body size to control the 5 heavily injured heavy armor warriors. Then, he could use the method of self-harm to injure each other. Then, he could use the power of the system to heal all injuries after the promotion to repair his own injuries. However, when facing a real wisdom state big monster, Lin Yuan had no advantage at all. Although Lin Yuan had added all his attribute points to the golden body technique the moment the system notification sounded, there was still a small half of his 100-meter-long snake body that had not been tempered. Even if this Jiao snake had not become a Jiao dragon and did not have the ability to summon clouds, summon rain, or summon lightning, its physique was not something the current Lin Yuan could compare to. System, if I can't complete this mission, will I never be able to advance? Lin Yuan asked the system as he twisted his snake body to adjust his posture and prepared to dodge. This system's name is Pui, Infinite Evolution System. Its purpose is to make the host stronger and stronger, and eventually become the overlord of the universe. If the host is unable to complete this mission, the system will deprive the host of the evolution opportunity and begin to unbind the host. During the unbinding period, the host will lose all consciousness until the system is done. During this period, the system will not guarantee the host's safety. However, this system can give you a friendly reminder. Although the host is not a match for this Jiao snake, the system's mission does not prohibit external help. It will only affect the host's mission completion rating. Compared to your own life, there is no need for the host to value the reward so much. The system timely extinguished Lin Yuan's fantasy. If he could not complete the mission, the system would deprive him of the evolution opportunity. Even if he was lucky during the period when he was a plant snake and did not become food for any monster, after he woke up, he would only be a level 10 monster for the rest of his life. 2 years later, he might have to face the pursuit of the Broken Stone clan. If he could not complete this promotion mission, he would die. Helper. Lin Yuan's snake body rolled, crushing a large part of the forest. His blue and white vertical pupils suddenly fell on Mendu, who was not far away. There were a lot of wisdom state demons present, but only Mendu had a friendly relationship with Lin Yuan. Mendu, what you said before, does it still count? Lin Yuan wriggled his snake body closer to Mendu, and used his mind to communicate with the other party. Old worm, if you move one more time, I'll take your life. Mendu's reaction was extremely fast. Almost as soon as Lin Yuan dodged the first attack of the Jiao snake, he turned into a white shadow and landed heavily beside Lin Yuan. He looked coldly at the Jiao snake, whose killing intent was aroused. As a member of this generation's overlord tribe, Mendu never thought that this Jiao snake would dare to attack the black snake that he said he would protect. Chapter 69. The flood dragon snake's bronze eyes flashed with a faint cold light. Whoosh! The tumbling flames instantly exploded and spread out in all directions. The flood dragon snake's talent was to control fire, and it seemed to be much better than Lin Yuan's. Lin Yuan had to ensure that there was water around him or it was raining in order to perfectly display his talent, but this flood dragon snake could produce flames out of thin air. Mendu, I'm not afraid of your mountain-shaking ape clan. But you, are you sure you want to be an enemy of my noble dragon clan? The flood dragon snake, wrapped in flames, looked at Mendu coldly and had no intention of retreating. This black snake, which had advanced twice in a row in the blink of an eye, was extremely terrifying. If it could not be eliminated today, it was afraid that it would not be able to live in peace for a few days. For a dead black snake, the mountain-shaking ape clan would not completely fall out with it, an existence that had the opportunity to transform into a flood dragon. Roar! Mendu roared in response to the flood dragon snake. As a high-end fighting force among the overlords of this area, Mendu's temper was obviously not as good as it was in front of Lin Yuan. After confirming that the flood dragon snake was going to fall out, Mendu's body was covered with a layer of stone armor. He waved an incomparably huge stone stick in his hand and began to smash it towards the flood dragon snake. The flood dragon snake was naturally not to be outdone. Its thick snake body showed an agility that did not match its body. It thoroughly demonstrated the saying, "Hit the snake with the stick," vividly. Not only did the thick stone stick not cause any harm to it, but it was also entangled by the flood dragon snake and moved up along the stone stick in circles. Wherever the flood dragon snake went, it would immediately turn red. Obviously, the temperature was extremely high. However, Mendu had no intention of letting go. He just kept waving the stone stick in his hand, as if trying to throw the flood dragon snake away. However, the flood dragon snake's entanglement was obviously terrifying. It was as if it was one with the stone stick. No matter how Mendu waved the stone stick in his hand, he did not see the flood dragon snake slip away at all. It even continued to move up along the stone stick. Finally, the flood dragon snake climbed to the top of the stone stick, which was the area where Mendu was holding the stone stick with both hands. The flood dragon snake suddenly coiled up half of its body. A pair of bronze vertical pupils coldly looked at Mendu, and said extremely coldly, "Mendu, you mountain-shaking apes only know a few tricks. Since you insist on being my enemy, then die." As soon as he finished speaking, the flood dragon snake suddenly opened its mouth and spat out a cluster of thick orange-red flames. Mendu was prepared for this. Obviously, not only did the flood dragon snake understand his fighting style, but he was also very familiar with the flood dragon snake's fighting style. Almost at the same time the orange-red flames were spat out, a huge stone wall rose in front of Mendu. The orange-red flames were loaded onto the stone wall and immediately spread to both sides. Although some of the hair on Mendu's arms were burnt, it did not hurt Mendu's vital parts. The mountain-shaking apes were not good-tempered creatures. When Demon Slayer entered the Hengduan Mountains to steal the cubs of the mountain-shaking apes, the entire Zhongshan city was trampled by them. Therefore, Mendu was naturally not an existence that would take a beating without fighting back. The moment the stone wall blocked the flames, 5 or 6 thick stone spikes suddenly rose from the ground and ruthlessly pierced into the flood dragon snake's soft abdomen. Yes, thick. Even with Lin Yuan's current snake body size of 100 meters, these connected stone thorns could still be regarded as thick and sturdy. If the same attack landed on his body, it could even tear apart half of his body. However, such an injury to a wisdom state great demon like the flood dragon snake would at most cause 3 or 6 holes in a human's body. However, if a human's body was not treated in time, they could lose their life at any time. However, for a great demon like the flood dragon snake, such an injury could be healed by half a day of rest. Lin Yuan flicked his tongue and coldly observed the battle between Mendu and the flood dragon snake. He had no desire to interfere in the battle between 2 wisdom state great demons. Even if he killed the flood dragon snake, he would only be rewarded with 5 attribute points from the system. Even if he did nothing and killed the flood dragon snake while watching Mendu kill it, he could still successfully complete the emergency mission. He would only lose 5 attribute points. He would not risk his life for such a small benefit. Ding! Congratulations to the host. You have successfully digested a level 10 spiritual body, mutated blood spirit. You have received 1 attribute point. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the mission Heaven Sent Opportunity. Option 1. Receive a chance to draw a blood type innate skill. You have received the status skill, Calm Mind. Blood type innate skill is being drawn. Ding! Congratulations to the host. You have received the blood type innate skill, Blood Sacrifice Wishing Technique. Ding! Congratulations to the host. You have successfully digested the mutated energy within the blood spirit. You have received the blood boiling technique. A series of system notifications rang in his ears. Lin Yuan was shocked. When did this dog system become so generous? A mutated blood spirit actually gave him 2 skills? Blood sacrifice wishing technique. The host can use attribute points or blood to make a wish. There is a chance of failure. The chance of failure is related to the difficulty of the wish and the number of sacrifices. For example, if the host wishes to become the overlord of the universe and only uses 1 attribute point to make a wish, the wish will fail 100% of the time. Blood boiling technique. After the host activates this skill, the host can enter a state where all attributes are doubled. This state can last for 3 minutes without any side effects. The cooldown time is 3 days. The system calmly gave the introductions of the 2 new skills. A buff that doubled all attributes without any side effects wasn't enough to surprise Lin Yuan. However, the blood sacrifice wishing technique made Lin Yuan's eyes light up. Causal loss skill. This was definitely the most terrifying skill. There was no other skill that could compare to it. As long as Lin Yuan could pay the price, becoming the overlord of the universe might really be something that could be achieved with a single wish. In addition to Lin Yuan, who was pleasantly surprised at this moment, the battle between Mendu and the snake had also reached its climax. Mendu's thick stone staff had been completely melted by the snake's flames. The snake's tail whipped Mendu 3 steps back. The snake's body was also covered with bloody holes of various sizes. It looked like it would die at any moment. However, its aura was very stable. It seemed like it had only suffered light injuries. Mendu's body was also covered with bite marks from the snake's fangs. However, his vitality was incomparably dense. It seemed like the more he fought, the braver he became. Lin Yuan's eyelids twitched. The vitality of a Wisdom Realm great demon far exceeded his imagination. Chapter 70. Lin Yuan even rejoiced that he did not choose to fight with the snake at the beginning. Instead, he let go of his greed and took the initiative to ask for help from Mendo. Blood sacrifice prayer technique. Lin Yuan did not hesitate at all and directly activated his newly acquired karma technique. 1/3 of his blood was drained by an inexplicable force. Even though Lin Yuan had a strong physique, he still felt dizzy and extremely weak. Everything in front of Lin Yuan's eyes turned black and white. This feeling of dancing with death was very strange, but he would never want to experience it again. However, with the sacrifice of 1/3 of a 10th grade demonic beast's blood, the effect was remarkable. A thick layer of dark clouds instantly covered the sky, as if a heavy rain was brewing. "Hey, old worm, it seems that even the heavens are not helping you." Mendo laughed and grabbed the snake that was trying to escape. An evil smile appeared on his ferocious face. All the demonic beasts thought that the sudden change in the weather was the will of the heavens. None of them paid attention to Lin Yuan, who was on the verge of collapsing. Even though a great demonic beast in the Wisdom Realm could condense some elemental energy out of thin air to change the weather, directly summoning a dark cloud was something that only a flood dragon could do. How could a 10th grade spirit awakening demonic beast do it? "Mendo, I will remember today's grudge." The snake roared and crazily wriggled its body, trying to break free from Mendo's grasp. However, Mendo obviously didn't intend to let the snake go so easily. He held on tightly to the snake's body. Even though the webbing between his thumb and index finger had already been torn open by the snake's brute force, the snake's body was still badly mutilated by Mendo's terrifying strength. This was reality, not a game. Even a great demonic beast in the Wisdom Realm like the snake could not survive after losing a part of its body. Whoosh! At this moment, a bright black light shot over. Lin Yuan focused his eyes and saw that it was a small black snake that was only 1 meter long. It did not look like a demonic beast that could appear in the Hengduan mountain range. After all, with its size, even in the demonic beast forest, it was definitely at the bottom of the food chain. However, after seeing the appearance of the small black snake, Lin Yuan's blue-white vertical pupils suddenly shrank. A snake's body, a dragon's head, and a monstrous aura. This small black snake gave Lin Yuan a very familiar feeling, as if he had seen it somewhere before. Dove snake. The system's cold voice sounded, and Lin Yuan even felt a cold killing intent rush to his head. Obviously, the Russian nesting doll system was not one to be taken advantage of. Even when facing its host, Lin Yuan, the system was thinking of ways to set a trap for him. Facing the dove snake, an existence that stole its power, it would be strange if the system did not show him any mercy. The dove snake's movements were extremely fast. Lin Yuan did not even have time to open his mouth to warn Men Do. The dove snake's body had already been pierced by the dove snake, and it was right in the middle of the snake's head. However, the dove snake did not intend to directly pierce through the snake's head. The image of the olfactory imaging appeared in his mind. Lin Yuan felt a chill run down his spine. This dove snake was actually devouring the brain of the flood dragon snake. Moreover, as time passed, the dove snake's aura seemed to be gradually rising. It was not the feeling of a rapid increase in strength, but more like it was recovering its strength. That's right. Lin Yuan suddenly understood. This dove snake had separated 4 bones from its body and given them to the rank 9 martial artist. It was obvious that it had come for him. It had probably heard that there was an ancient black snake in the demon beast forest. Therefore, it had thought that he had the blood of the dragon clan in his body. Therefore, it wanted to devour him to advance further. However, after the dove snake bone spear had scratched Lin Yuan, it did not steal the dragon blood that Lin Yuan did not have. Instead, it stole a part of the system's power, and then it was directly blown up by the system's power. Losing 4 dove snake bones was not a fatal injury for this legendary creature that could sneak into the dragon clan's nest and devour an adult dragon clan, but it was definitely a serious injury. It had attacked the snake not because it was kind and wanted to help Lin Yuan and Men Do. Although the dragon snake had not completely evolved, it still had the blood of the dragon clan in its body. Devouring such an existence would not have the same effect as devouring the dragon clan, but it would definitely allow its strength to gradually recover. Ding! Congratulations to the host. You have completed the first stage of the mission, Evil Snake. The dragon snake that wanted to kill you has been completely killed. Now the host's priority is to devour the dragon snake's flesh and obtain the dragon blood in the dragon snake's body to enter a new realm. Otherwise, the host will forever lose the ability to evolve. The system's cold voice sounded. The first part was the system's notification that the mission had been completed, but the latter part, Lin Yuan simply thought that the system was being petty and gave him a fancy job. It wanted him to deal with the dove snake that was devouring the brain of the dragon snake. The dove snake was able to kill the Wisdom Realm Great Demon in one hit, even if it was a weak Great Demon. It was clear that the dove snake's strength was not ordinary, and it also had the dragon blood. It could directly use the dragon blood to suppress Lin Yuan for a short period of time. In a battle between experts, 2 or 3 moves were enough to kill. Between high-level monsters, it was naturally the same. In that short period of suppression, if the dove snake suddenly attacked him, it would have no problem killing him in one hit. But at this time, Lin Yuan did not have much time to think. After a short moment of hesitation, Lin Yuan directly flew out and bit the dragon snake's body that was completely cold. His blue and white vertical pupils flashed with a cold light. A thing that offended the system actually dared to intercept it? Do you think that I, Lin Yuan, have no temper? Or do you think that the Russian nesting doll system has no temper? Rumble, accompanied by the sound of thunder, Lin Yuan directly launched the attack. With the right time, place, and people, what else did he have to worry about? Just do it. Drops of rainwater gradually changed shape under Lin Yuan's control, forming a thick and long transparent chain that directly wrapped around the dragon snake's head. In the next moment, Lin Yuan's mind moved, and the transparent chain instantly twisted the dragon snake's head into a pile of minced meat. The black dove snake was forced out, but it did not fall to the ground. It strangely hung in mid-air. Chapter 71. Black Snake. I originally came for you. However, you don't have any dragon blood in your body. Even if I devour you, it won't benefit me. Furthermore, I helped you get rid of this flood dragon snake. Shouldn't you be grateful to me? You actually dared to disturb me while I was eating. Could it be you're tired of living? The dove serpent coldly looked at Lin Yuan as if it was looking at a corpse. Your prey? Not necessarily. Lin Yuan shook his snake head. The cold light in his eyes reappeared. He used his mind to say, if you say so, then I can only stay by your side. When you're hunting, I'll give you a stab. Does that mean that you're my prey? How laughable. Lin Yuan didn't give the dove serpent any face. He also looked at the dove serpent as if he was looking at a corpse. The dove serpent looked at Lin Yuan because even though it had lost a lot of its strength, it still had the combat strength of the wisdom realm. Even if its injuries would relapse if it fought for a long time, it wouldn't be difficult for it to kill a class 10 demonic beast. However, Lin Yuan looked at the flood dragon snake as if he was really looking at a corpse. He didn't read many novels in his previous life. He only read a few system-type novels. The system in his body clearly had its own intelligence and calculations. It wasn't a simple artificial retard. Thus, this dove serpent offended the system. It was basically lying in a coffin, waiting for Lin Yuan to smash the nail into it. At this moment, Lin Yuan finally reacted. Why did the mutated blood spirit give 2 skills? It was all the F*King system's calculations. The blood sacrifice wishing technique allowed him to occupy the right time. Coupled with the blood boiling technique, which didn't have any side effects, it directly doubled his current strength. It was probably the trump card that the system prepared for him to deal with the dove serpent. Humph, Junior, I won't lower myself to your level. If you scram now, I can still let you go. Jiaoshi turned his head to look at the headless corpse of the Jiao snake on the ground, and a pained expression appeared in his eyes. There were many snake-type monsters in the Hengduan Mountains, but only a few of them had the blood of the dragon clan. Even such an incomplete Jiao snake was a rare delicacy for it. Now that the most delicious part of the snake had been destroyed by Lin Yuan, it was enough to make it want to tear Lin Yuan apart. However, Mendu was standing beside it after all. The strength of this mountain-shaking ape was extremely terrifying. Even if it was at its peak, it might not be able to defeat Mendu. I'm not leaving. I'll wait here. Lin Yuan glanced to the side, the coldness in his eyes growing colder. You're courting death. The dove snake angrily roared, and its 3-feet-long black snake body violently swept over. Come! Lin Yuan roared in his heart. He activated the golden body secrets, and a dark golden luster began to appear on a small part of his skin. The group of level 9 monsters and wisdom state monsters, including Mendu, all showed an incredulous expression. They looked at Lin Yuan, who was advancing instead of retreating, and their mouths opened wider and wider. This black snake. Was its head so hard? Going head-to-head with an wisdom state monster? Did it think that it was already in wisdom state monster just because it had condensed demon chi on its body? Boom! A loud sound reverberated. The black snake body abruptly stopped in mid-air, and Lin Yuan flew back 30 meters. His dark golden skin cracked inch by inch, revealing the black snake scales underneath. The skin that was not covered by the dark golden luster was torn apart, and the scales fell off. Large amounts of blood continued to pour out. Just as a... The dove snake sneered, as if it did not put Lin Yuan's resistance in its eyes. However, no matter how disdainful it appeared on the surface, the dove snake's heart was in a perilous situation. This guy was only a level 10 monster. Not only did it use its mind to communicate with other monsters, but its own strength was also very terrifying. Not to mention a monster that had just advanced to level 10, even those monsters that had constantly trained themselves to reach the peak of level 10, or even those that were about to enter the wisdom state, might not be able to withstand its attack. Lin Yuan shook his swollen snake head, and without any hesitation, he pounced on the dove snake again. This guy's attack caused a terrifying damage of close to 100 points. Was an wisdom state monster really so terrifying? However, Lin Yuan had no intention of backing down. After all, if he failed this mission, even if his luck was not bad, his strength would be stuck at the level 10 monster level, and he would never be able to advance any further. Moreover, he had the support of the system Baba. What was there to be afraid of? Although the system did not say anything, Lin Yuan discovered that when he was fighting with the dove snake, the pressure from the other party's bloodline had already dropped to a freezing point. It could even be ignored, and the pressure was not even as great as when the flood snake wanted to kill him. Obviously, this was due to the system's contribution. Blood boil technique. Lin Yuan's pair of blue-white vertical pupils were gradually dyed with a scarlet color. At the moment when the skill was activated, Lin Yuan even felt that his blood was burning. Host, Lin Yuan status, Big Black Snake, can evolve, realm, 10 out of 10 innate skills, 1. Distinguish the enemy's position by smell, cannot evolve, 2. Create an accurate image of a 500-meter range by smell, 0/100, 3. Water/ice control, 0/100, 4. Blood sacrifice wish technique speed, 14 plus 15 defense, 23 plus 24 attack, 14 plus 15 distributable points, 0 martial arts, golden body secrets, 55 out of 75, skills, 1. Death coil, 38 of 300, 2. Poison enhancement, 2 out of 100, 3. Tail strike, 19 out of 100, 4. Blood boil technique, 1 out of 100, item. Light feather chance to molt X1. The blood boil technique doubled his attributes, and in addition to the rainstorm, all of Lin Yuan's attributes had already exceeded 100 points, reaching an extremely terrifying level. Even some Wisdom Realm monsters might not have such terrifying attributes like Lin Yuan's. His 47 points of defense, coupled with the golden body secret's damage immunity, and after Lin Yuan estimated the damage that the dove snake had done to him, his heart was filled with confidence. My 23 points of defense can make my scalp go numb. Then with my 47 points of defense, what can you do to me? Fuck. Even the dove snake, who had seen the world, could not help but curse in a low voice. What was wrong with this black snake? Other monsters were more afraid the stronger they got, and in the end, they would completely submit to the strong. Why did this black snake seem to be getting more and more excited? Could it be that his attacking posture was wrong? Thinking of this, Lin Yuan had already arrived in front of the dove snake. In the eyes of other monsters, his iron head fiercely slammed into the dove snake's body. Then boom. The scene exploded. The dove snake, who had just firmly held the upper hand, was directly sent flying by Lin Yuan's rocket head hammer filled with confidence. Its 3 feet long body drew a long ditch in the ground, and it forcefully slid more than 50 meters before coming to a stop. Chapter 72. After all, the dove snake was a wisdom state monster. Even if it couldn't take down Lin Yuan, it was only surprised for a moment. A level 10 monster was a level 10 monster. Compared to a wisdom state monster, the difference was like heaven and earth. However, when Lin Yuan took the initiative to attack it, it suddenly realized that it was wrong. This black snake. There was definitely something wrong with it. Before it entered the Hengduan Mountains, it used its talent to possess several humans. After inquiring about it, it was certain that the black snake that Miss Lu had encountered was just a newly awakened demonic beast. In less than half a year, the black snake had transformed from a wild beast to a majestic level 10 demonic beast. This growth speed was unimaginable for others. However, after seeing this extraordinary black snake with its own eyes, the dove snake was once again disappointed. This was because it couldn't sense any dragon aura from this black snake. In other words, this black snake didn't have a trace of dragon blood in it. It was just an ordinary black snake. At this moment, all of the dove snake's deductions were overturned. Without waiting for the dove snake to adjust its posture, Lin Yuan's next attack had already landed. The 5 to 6 meter thick snake tail suddenly smashed down. It was as if a light hit could crush the 3 meter long dove snake into meat paste. The dove snake suddenly let out a roar that sounded like a dragon. The 3 meter long black snake body suddenly began to expand. Without waiting for Lin Yuan's snake tail to land, the dove snake had already turned into a huge black python that was close to 150 meters long. However, its head had turned into a golden dragon head. It looked completely out of place with its black python body. Ding! Congratulations to the host for activating the special quest, Kill the Pseudo-Dragon. Name: Kill the Pseudo-Dragon. Description: the dove snake is an extremely disgusting monster beast. The one in front of you failed to devour the mother dragon and was severely injured by the mother dragon. It almost lost all of its cultivation in order to keep its life. It hid for many years before finally escaping the limelight. Now, it has begun to devour monsters with dragon bloodline in an attempt to transform into a dragon. Host: please kill it as soon as possible. Reward: Dragon Clan Favorability Punishment. Nil. Seeing the activated quest, Lin Yuan's heart didn't waver. He even wanted to laugh in his heart. Here it comes. In the end they still came. This petty system had come to nail the nail into Jioshi's coffin. The system was indeed powerful, but it couldn't influence anything out of thin air. Just like how it didn't know that the blood spirit had mutated when it first discovered it. Also, in the Monsters Pack mission, Bata was extremely important to the Crushed Stone tribe and even the mountain quaking apes, which was why it involved the friendship of the entire mountain-quaking apes. The reward for this special mission naturally wouldn't come out of nowhere. Perhaps there really was a mysterious existence among the monster beasts watching the battle nearby. Even if it was not a member of the Dragon Clan, it was likely that it had a deep relationship with the Dragon Clan. The dove serpent's body was entangled with Lin Yuan's snake body, and the two terrifying forces were constantly clashing against each other. Neither of them was willing to back down. Not only that, the two behemoths were entangled with each other and kept rolling around. The nearby rocks and trees were all destroyed by the two of them. They were either turned into dust or shattered into pieces. This wasn't the end. The dove serpent and Lin Yuan were constantly coiling their upper bodies and tearing at each other. Almost every bite would bring out large chunks of flesh and blood. Then, under each other's hateful gazes, they would swallow each other's flesh and blood into their stomachs. Drops of rain turned into icicles, and they didn't differentiate between Lin Yuan and the dove serpent, constantly piercing the two behemoths. Clouds of blood exploded in the rain, and a tragic aura spread everywhere. This was a life-and-death battle between monster beasts. Even an existence like the dove serpent, who wanted to devour the Dragon Clan, couldn't avoid it. The dove serpent was risking its life because Lin Yuan, who was in the blood boil state, had attributes that were not inferior to ordinary intelligence realm monster beasts. With its current strength, it could barely fight on par with Lin Yuan, but it was still heavily injured and couldn't continue fighting with him. Otherwise, it would die an incomparably miserable death. Lin Yuan was also risking his life. Apart from him, no other creature could understand what kind of opportunity he would lose if he couldn't kill the dove serpent and swallow the Jiao serpent's corpse. How miserable would his future be? Gotcha! Following the crisp sound of bones cracking, the monster beasts in the surroundings all held their breaths. Neither the dove serpent nor Lin Yuan had any intention of holding back as they fought. At this moment, the two of them had practically stuffed their bodies into each other's bodies. Large amounts of blood and flesh fell to the ground, and one could even faintly see the beating of their internal organs and the eerie white bones that supported their bodies. "What the hell are you?" the dove serpent asked in despair. As time passed, it began to feel the pain of its old injuries, and its condition was far from being comparable to when it had just entered the battlefield. Moreover, it was getting weaker and weaker. Thus, at this moment, the dove serpent could almost see the god of death waving at it. However, Lin Yuan didn't have the time to pay attention to the dove serpent. He continued to tear apart the dove serpent's flesh and swallowed it into his stomach, constantly absorbing the energy from the flesh to repair his injuries. Yes, even in the blood boil state, Lin Yuan was still not the dove serpent's opponent. Thus, at this moment, the dove serpent still had the energy to speak, but Lin Yuan could do nothing but continue to numbly attack his opponent. Roar! Mendu suddenly roared in anger. A wisdom realm monster beast actually wanted to take advantage of the time when Lin Yuan was fighting with the dove serpent to snatch away the flood serpent's corpse. This was an existence that had a thin amount of dragon blood in its body. If it could completely devour it, the effect wouldn't be much worse than a spirit creature that had grown for hundreds of years. It might even awaken the bloodline in its body and return to its ancestral state. However, it forgot that although Lin Yuan and the dove serpent couldn't free themselves, Mendu was still guarding the flood serpent's corpse. Its pair of bright eyes stared unwaveringly at the other wisdom realm monster beasts. At this moment, Lin Yuan mustered all the strength in his body and took a final bite. This was his last bit of strength. If he could not kill this dove serpent, then he would not have the strength to continue fighting with this dove serpent. If this attack did not succeed, then he would die either way. However, what Lin Yuan didn't expect was that before his bite landed, the dove serpent's body suddenly stiffened and dissipated all of its aura. Ding! Congratulations to host for killing the Wisdom Realm monster beast, Dove Serpent. Reward: 5 attribute points. Ding! Congratulations to host for completing the special mission, Killing the False Dragon. Reward: Dragon Clan's favorability. Chapter 73. Dead. Lin Yuan was stunned. Although he thought that the dove snake was faking its death, waiting for him to let down his guard and then attack him. But after thinking about it carefully, even the system had announced that the attribute points were in Lin Yuan's hands. No matter how cunning the dove snake was, it was impossible for it to fake its death in front of the system's omnipotent existence. Thus, Lin Yuan instantly relaxed. When he was fighting with the dove snake, the system notifications kept ringing in his ears. Until now, he did not even look at them. It was too tiring. However, Lin Yuan still forced himself to stay alert. Little by little, he pulled himself out of the dove snake's body. Twisting his broken body, he began to slowly approach the Jiao snake's body. The most important task had not been completed yet. He believed that Men Du, even if he fainted, would protect him. After all, he had the key to healing Batu. Perhaps Men Du was skeptical of him before, but he was able to level up twice in front of Men Du. Moreover, every time he leveled up, he was able to heal all of his injuries. This had already proven his methods. But he did not want to wake up to find the Jiao snake's body in the stomach of another monster. The system also announced that it was unbound from him. Pain, bitterness. All kinds of feelings rushed into Lin Yuan's mind like a tidal wave. For a moment, Lin Yuan's whole body felt numb. But he still slithered to the side of the Jiao snake's body and began to slowly devour the Jiao snake's body. There was no smell in his mouth. Only the pungent smell of blood. Every time he swallowed, it was not only the Jiao snake's flesh, but also the minced meat and blood in his mouth. This was the most serious injury he had ever suffered since he received the system. Moreover, the system had not told him how to level up, so Lin Yuan did not have the second life hidden method. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the first stage of the mission posture of the owl snake. Initiating the second stage of the mission. After that, Lin Yuan could no longer hear the system's announcement. He killed the dove snake, who had suddenly become extremely weak, and at the same time ate the Jiao snake's flesh. At this moment, he had lost all his obsession. Under the influence of the serious injury, he quickly lost all consciousness. 2 days later, Lin Yuan opened his eyes again. A trace of confusion flashed through his blue-white vertical pupils. He remembered that he had come to a beautiful place with verdant hills and limpid waters, and it was like spring all year round. There was always a thought in his heart that told him that as long as he was willing, he could stay in that beautiful place forever, and he would not have to worry about survival. However, he also remembered his tragic life in his previous life, and remembered the hatred and pain he had suffered. Therefore, he rejected that beautiful thought, and after that, he could not remember what had happened. However, he was certain that he was not in the area where he was fighting the dove serpent, nor was he in his own nest. When he was unconscious, he was dragged to a strange place by other demonic beasts. F***CK. Don't tell me you're treating me as your food reserve? Lin Yuan subconsciously wanted to jump up, but the pain that assaulted his mind made him give up the idea. Jump. Dream on. If he were to move even a little, he would feel as if his entire body would be torn apart. Even if they really treated him as a grain reserve, he could only lie here obediently. Otherwise, even if he wasn't captured by the other party, he would die halfway due to his injuries. System. He subconsciously called out. At this time, Lin Yuan's first reaction was to ask the system for help. With his own ability, he was unable to break out of this situation. However, the familiar electronic voice had completely disappeared. After a full 3 to 4 minutes, Lin Yuan did not receive any response from the system. A question mark slowly appeared in Lin Yuan's head. He clearly remembered that he had only fainted after completing the first stage of the promotion mission. Could it be that the system saw that he couldn't be saved, so it simply unbound him? Lin Yuan closed his eyes helplessly and sighed. He had already resigned himself to his fate. Ding, the system upgrade is complete, reconfiguring. The region is set to Sky Martial Continent, the language is set to the common language, the settings are complete. The operation mode is set to be mental control and voice control by default, the settings are complete. Host, please choose a new system assistant. Choice 1, Default Assistant. Choice 2, Sweet Lowly. Choice 3, Delicate and Domineering Sister. Choice 4. Listening to the system's broadcast in his mind, Lin Yuan was dumbfounded. To be honest, if he did not count the other options, Sweet Lowly, Delicate and Domineering Sister, and the original Russian doll, which one would he choose? After thinking for less than 0.1 seconds, Lin Yuan used his mind to choose the default assistant. No matter what kind of voice package the system assistant is, it is an intangible thing, and the default system is a Russian doll. Even if the voice package is changed, there will not be any changes, and it is impossible to give benefits. Lin Yuan is already used to the battle of wits and courage, and he does not want to grope for a new system assistant habit again. What if he chooses a person who is mentally retarded? At least you still have some conscience. The cold electronic voice sounded. Stop talking. Tell me, what happened after I fainted? Lin Yuan squinted his eyes. Since he could not move, he took the initiative to ask the system for follow-up questions. Reading host's unread broadcast. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the first stage of Posture of the Owl Snake. The second stage of the mission is now unlocked. Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining the dragon's favor. The current relationship with the dragon's forces is close. Ding! Congratulations to the host for devouring the flesh of the flood snake. Obtaining a trace of dragon's bloodline. The bloodline model has been unlocked. 3 consecutive system notifications sounded in Lin Yuan's mind. In that instant, Lin Yuan did not have the intention to look at the details, but he was slightly curious. What did the dove snake that died in his hands do? How could the relationship between him and the dragon jump to close after killing it? Even the Broken Stone clan was not that close to Lin Yuan now. System, since I obtained the dragon's bloodline, does that mean I'm not a snake anymore? Lin Yuan blinked and asked subconsciously. A true dragon is a dragon. A flood dragon is also a dragon, some big lizards that can fly, some lesser dragons that walk on the ground. There are many things that can be considered dragon in the world. They all look similar and call themselves dragons. But in reality, it is just the density and scarcity of the dragon's bloodline in the body that differs. The host did not really think that you would become a dragon just because you obtained a trace of dragon's bloodline, right? Is there such a good thing in the world? The system's familiar ridicule sounded. In the end, it paused, and then added, let me remind the host again. Even in your dreams, you must have a sense of propriety. Chapter 74. Host. Lin Yuan status. Big Black Snake, Evolvable. Realm. 10 out of 10 talent. 1. Identify the enemy's position according to smell. Cannot be advanced. 2. Form an accurate image within 500 meters around the body according to smell. 0/100. 3. Water/ice control. 0/100. 4. Blood sacrifice wishing technique speed. 14. 1. Defense. 23. 0. Attack. 14. 0. Assignable points. 5. Martial arts. Golden body secrets. 55 out of 75. Skills. 1. Death coil. 138 to 300. 2. Poison of poisoned wine. 0/300. 3. Tail attack. 21 out of 100. 4. Blood boiling technique. 1/100. Item. Destroyed feather. Reparable. Molting opportunity X1. Bloodline evolution selection opportunity X1. Looking at the newly appeared system panel, Lin Yuan's originally dark snake head became even darker. The brackets behind the attribute values were his current attributes. In other words, his current speed was only at the level of a level 1 monster. Whether it was his defense or attack power, they were all 0. Even if it was an ordinary beast, as long as it could catch up with him, it could easily kill him. Dog system, it's too realistic. However, the advancement of Venom's enhanced skills was also an unexpected surprise. It seemed that every time he entered the state where he relied entirely on instinct to fight to the death, his skills would advance? After thinking about it carefully, Lin Yuan completely tore the bold idea in his mind. There was no way to go all out, but if he went crazy and provoked the strong in order to become stronger and force the other party to enter a state of desperation with him, that was another thing. That was courting death. System, where am I now? Lin Yuan was silent for a moment, but he still asked the most critical question. Just now, he used the method of olfactory imaging to form a 500-meter picture in his mind. Except for him, there was no second living creature here, not even a single reptile, and there was no smell of beasts in the air. It was as if there were no other living creatures here except for Lin Yuan. Map generation. Map generation failed. Host, please explore by yourself. 3 consecutive system prompts sounded, and then the dog system entered a state of silence. Forget it, I won't ask you. It's fine as long as my life is not in danger for the time being. Lin Yuan retracted the snake's forked tongue and used his mind to silently activate the item that gave him the opportunity to evolve his bloodline. This was the dragon's blood mentioned by the system. It was also the hidden reward for completing the first stage of the advancement quest. Obviously, the system was not so rigid as to give all the rewards after the completion of the advancement quest. Instead, it gave Lin Yuan a chance to quickly recover his strength. Ding! Analyzing dragon blood. Analysis complete. The trace of dragon blood in the host's hand is the blood of a flood dragon. I've analyzed 3 evolutionary directions. The first is a water flood dragon, which can summon wind and rain. The second is a mountain flood dragon, which can move mountains and split the earth. The third is a forest flood dragon, which can give birth to all living things. After using up all the items, the system gave him a corresponding choice. Lin Yuan also fell into a state of choice phobia. In his previous life, he heard that a snake cultivated for 500 years to become a flood dragon, and a flood dragon cultivated for 500 years to become a dragon. At the level of a dragon, it was further divided into levels such as horned dragon, winged dragon, and so on. He did not expect that this drop of flood dragon blood in the hands of the system could give him 3 evolutionary directions. The first was a water flood dragon, which was the traditional evolutionary direction in the ancient myths of his previous life. At this stage, according to the strength of the dragon, it could even control rivers, lakes, and seas, and become the dragon king of a certain region. Of course, whether it was in terms of ability or reputation, it was far from the legendary dragon king of the 4 seas. As for the mountain flood dragon and forest flood dragon, they were existences that Lin Yuan had never heard of in his previous life. One sounded like it had a strong attack power that could move mountains and split the earth. Its evolutionary direction should be the earth dragon, which was a terrifying existence in the legends that could cause an earthquake in a certain region with just a flip of its body. As for the forest flood dragon, it was a bit strange. It was not a traditional evolutionary existence like the water flood dragon, nor was it a terrifying existence like the mountain flood dragon. It could give birth to all living things, but it was somewhat similar to a logistical existence. It was just that he did not know if it could accelerate the growth of the green leaf water lotus. Therefore, Lin Yuan could not help but fall into a fear of making a choice. One was the evolutionary path that he was most familiar with, the other was an evolutionary path that could help him survive better, and the other's growth speed would definitely far surpass the other two. After all, this talent could give birth to phase. System I choose the water flood dragon. The blue-white vertical pupils slightly lit up. Lin Yuan had already made his choice. He was not a person who liked to take risks. Moreover, his talent was to control water, and there were attribute bonuses in water. Naturally, he was more inclined towards the water flood dragon. Ding! Choice successful. Beginning evolution. At the same time as the electronic voice rang out, Lin Yuan's pitch-black snake body slightly trembled. Some of the damaged flesh began to slowly wriggle, growing new tender granules. These granules continued to proliferate and began to rapidly repair Lin Yuan's body. After his 100-meter-long snake body was completely regenerated, a layer of pitch-black bright scales began to slowly grow on his skin. Ding! Detected changes in the host's body. Automatically used 1 chance to shed skin. The electronic voice rang out again. Lin Yuan's originally intact snake scales began to shatter at this moment, turning into pieces of transparent snake skin that fell from Lin Yuan's body. Originally, Lin Yuan's snake scales were extremely fine, but this time, the newly born black scales were at least the size of an adult's palm. Moreover, not only were they black, but there were also circles of dark golden dragon patterns on the scales. It was somewhat similar to the state of the golden body secrets, but the color was extremely dim. If one did not look carefully, one would not be able to see it. Flood dragon scales. Although Lin Yuan had not completely evolved, the system had already given him a body of flood dragon scales. Now, even if he didn't activate the golden body technique, just this layer of scales and defensive power alone would make it impossible for any creature below the wisdom realm to shatter his scales. Even the human cannons he had seen before might not be able to blast open his scales. The tender red snake tongue came out of his mouth. Lin Yuan moved his body, shaking off the transparent snake skin from his body. All the pain just now seemed to be an illusion, as if it did not exist at all. However, there were still question marks in the status panel. It was clear that Lin Yuan had not recovered to his peak state. After all, this kind of evolution was not a promotion. Although the external injuries were healed, the internal injuries were still there. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully absorbing a trace of dragon blood and changing your bloodline. You have obtained a new innate ability, Flood Dragon Scales. Flood Dragon Scales. The current you is still far from being a dragon, but a trace of the Flood Dragon's bloodline allowed you to evolve into a Flood Dragon Scale armor. Although it is far from being comparable to a real Flood Dragon, it is still not the same as before. When the scales are intact, your defense is increased by 20%. Chapter 75. Ding. 1,300 meters to the west. An intelligent state demonic beast is approaching. Host, please escape as soon as possible. Ding. 1,300 meters to the west. An intelligent state demonic beast is approaching. Host, please escape as soon as possible. Ding. 1,100 meters to the west. An unknown demonic beast is approaching. Host, please escape as soon as possible. Just as he regained some of his combat strength, the system's notification made Lin Yuan's face darken again. Although the intelligent state demonic beast would become a part of his diet sooner or later, he only wanted to complete his advancement mission in peace. After all, he didn't have any intention of bullying the young, and he didn't want to be enemies with other demonic beasts that were one realm higher than him. If he caused too much trouble, he would really die. But the problem was it really possible for him to escape from the hands of two great demons of the wisdom realm and an existence of an unknown realm? Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. 4 intelligent state demonic beasts, even if they didn't use any tricks, they could cover a distance of more than 1,000 meters in just 7 or 8 steps. Therefore, when Lin Yuan heard the sound of wind breaking, the 3 demonic beasts were already standing in the area where Lin Yuan was temporarily resting. Among the 3 demonic beasts, the one that Lin Yuan was most familiar with was Mendo, the one that scared countless demonic beasts to the point that they didn't dare to move and almost crushed that Jiao snake to death. Of the remaining 2 demonic beasts, one was an old ape with gray hair. It seemed to be a mountain-shaking ape, but it seemed to be different from the mountain-shaking ape. It seemed to have a vertical eye between its eyebrows, but the third eye wasn't open. It was tightly shut and looked like a crack. The other one was a dragon? Lin Yuan's blue-white vertical pupils flashed with a strange color. He looked at the golden scales of the other party and the 2 horns on its snake-like head. He could even feel a faint oppressive force from the other party. Unlike the pressure that the dove snake and the flood dragon snake emitted on their own initiative, the existence in front of him seemed to be a dragon. It seemed to have deliberately suppressed the pressure on its own body, but there was still some lingering charm in its movements. Black Snake, this is Ao Qian from the West Sea Dragon Palace. She originally came to the Hengduan Mountains to kill the Jiao snake, but when she arrived, she saw you fighting with the Jiao snake, so she didn't act rashly. Today, she came here to treat your injuries. But looking at your lively appearance, it seems that you don't need it. Ha ha ha. This is the sage of the Broken Stone clan and the clan leader of our clan. Batu is his son. He heard that you have a way to treat Batu injuries, so he came to see you. Mendo stood aside and introduced the 2 beasts to Lin Yuan one by one. Ha! Lin Yuan's blue-white vertical pupils lit up slightly, and a touch of joy flashed through his eyes. Dragon Palace of the 4 Seas? Ayo. Was this a coincidence, or was this world actually related to his previous life? If the 2 worlds were related, did it mean that he could return to the world of his previous life? The feeling of having a blood feud on his back was not a good feeling. Not bad. When I first saw you, you were just an ordinary little snake. Now that I look at you again, you have the potential to transform into a Jiao snake. It seems that the Jiao snake really misjudged you. You seem to have the blood of the dragon clan in your body. Ao Qian looked up and down at Lin Yuan. A ray of light flashed in her red vertical eyes. She emphasized the word seems, because she was not sure what was going on with Lin Yuan. When he fought with the Jiao snake, this guy was obviously just an ordinary black snake. But after 2 days of recuperation, his body had the blood of a Jiao snake. Even the horns of a Jiao snake had not grown out, but he already had scales. Whether I have the blood of the dragon clan in my body or not, what does it have to do with senior? Lin Yuan's blue-white vertical eyes hid all his emotions. The muscles of his body were slightly tense, ready to enter the battle state at any time. He did not mind using the greatest malice to figure out all the monsters. After all, this was a place where the strong preyed on the weak. He was just an ordinary black snake, but he condensed the blood of a Jiao snake. Even if the real dragon clan looked down on Jiao dragons, they would definitely be curious about what means Lin Yuan used to evolve his blood. The way these monsters solved their curiosity was often to directly snatch the other party's things and bring them to themselves. Of course it has something to do with it. If you are the blood of the dragon clan scattered outside, you should leave with me. You can choose one of the dragon palaces of the 4 seas to live in. It is better than being careful in this Hengduan mountain range. When Ao Qian said these words, there was a high and mighty momentum. Even if she was the overlord of this area, she did not have any intention of restraining herself. It was as if the monsters in the Hengduan mountain range were all inferior creatures, and the dragon clan of the 4 seas could stand on the clouds and overlook everything. What was strange was that the mountain-shaking ape clan, who had always been known for their bad temper, stood there silently. Seeing that Lin Yuan was still expressionless, Ao Qian smiled coldly and said, "Little black snake, don't tell me you are so naive to think that you can become the strongest just by yourself? You should know that in the entire Tianwu continent, the monsters must pay attention to their blood. And as long as it is stained with the word dragon, it can almost be equated with strength. Now, do you understand the level of power of the dragon palaces of the 4 seas? As long as we are willing, there is no problem in sinking the entire Tianwu continent to the bottom of the sea. System, the dragon palaces of the 4 seas in this world, are they the dragon palaces of the 4 seas that I know?" Lin Yuan did not reply, but silently communicated with the system through his mind. "I don't know if the dragon palaces of the 4 seas in this world are related to the dragon palaces of the 4 seas that the host knows, but I can be sure that the dragon palaces of the 4 seas in this world do not even have a dragon king, let alone a dragon king. The host will understand what the so-called title of dragon king means in the future." The system sneered and replied casually. Lin Yuan's face still did not show any joy or sorrow, but his yearning for the dragon palaces of the 4 seas had completely disappeared. A dragon palace that did not even have a few true dragons. How could it be called a dragon palace? Gently shaking his head, Lin Yuan replied with his mind, "I am sorry, senior. Although I do have the blood of the dragon clan in my body, I have nothing to do with the dragon palaces of the 4 seas. Furthermore, I do not want to leave the Hengduan mountain range." Hearing this, Ao Qian's face stiffened. She could not understand. The dragon palaces of the 4 seas were famous for their fighting prowess. How could there be a monster who refused to join the dragon palaces of the 4 seas? With the name of the dragon palaces of the 4 seas hanging on his body, as long as he did not do anything that angered the heavens, even the nobles of the 7 great dynasties would have to think twice before offending him. Chapter 76. Well, the Hengduan mountain range seems to be powerful, but it's just a group of chickens and pottery dogs waiting to die. What you have seen now is just a corner. When you regret it, come to the West Sea Dragon Palace to find me. But at that time, the conditions I can give will certainly not be better than now. Ao Qian blinked her eyes. Her figure flashed, and she directly disappeared on the spot. This? Mendo's mouth was slightly open with a look of astonishment. Ao Qian of the West Sea Dragon Palace wanted to recruit the Black Snake. He originally thought that it was a great opportunity. With the help of the Dragon Palace, Batu's injury could be better treated. But he never thought that the Black Snake was not even a little bit moved and directly refused the recruitment from the West Sea Dragon Palace. Didn't the dragon snake that he had killed before rely on his ability to transform into a dragon and the opportunity to join the Dragon Palace of the 4 seas in the future so that he dared not put the overlord of this area in his eyes? A person who had the opportunity to join the Dragon Palace was so arrogant, but a person who could really join the Dragon Palace directly refused? Mendo stepped back. The 3-eyed ape reached out and patted Mendo's shoulder and whispered, "Yes." Mendo, like a child, respectfully bowed his head and then silently retreated to the side. Black Snake, your name is now well known in the Hengduan mountain range. In a few months, you grew from an ordinary black snake to an existence that can fight with the wisdom state demon beasts today. There are not many unusual creatures like you in countless years. Moreover, 80% of them are from the human clan and not demon beasts. So, you are very special. But you are too dazzling. The human clan will not let you continue to grow. Even if the Broken Stone clan can shelter you for a while, they can't shelter you forever. If you want to live, you must improve yourself faster and then go deeper into the area until those humans dare not attack you again. The 3-eyed ape said slowly with a faint smile on his face. Senior, what do you mean? Lin Yuan was slightly stunned. He thought that the three-eyed ape might tell him about Batu and that the three-eyed ape wanted to get some benefits from him. But he never thought that the three-eyed ape would appear here just to remind him to be careful of humans. What was this? Was it a show of goodwill? It's just an investment in advance. You have the Dragon Clan's bloodline and the invitation of the Dragon Palace, but you resolutely refuse the invitation of the Dragon Palace. This shows that you have greater ambitions. From the outermost demon beast forest to our area, the biggest obstacle in front of you is my Gravel Clan, isn't it? If we didn't have Batu as a link, when you appeared at the edge of the Hungduan mountain range, I would have sent all my subordinates out until you were completely destroyed. But now I think we can talk. The three-eyed ape was still smiling. Lord Sage. Mendo's mouth was wide open, and his face revealed the same astonishment as Lin Yuan's. A black snake at the 10th level of the Spirit Awakening realm did have a place in this area, but it was nothing in front of the Shattered Stone Clan. Disregarding everything else, just the Mendu could easily crush this black snake. But Lord Sage's words had a hint of weakness. I don't quite understand what senior means. Lin Yuan slightly tilted his eyes and softly replied. No matter if it's a human or a beast, the fastest time of cultivation is often when they just start cultivating. A few months on the children of my clan might not even be able to learn how to walk, but on you, you were able to turn from an ordinary black snake into a level 10 monster beast today. This kind of growth speed has already surpassed any monster beast that I know of. Even the children of the Dragon Clan might not be able to catch up to you. Right now, you are just a minion that can be destroyed at any time to our Shattered Stone Clan, but in the future, you will grow into an existence that the entire mountain-shaking ape clan must look up to. So, there are only two choices in front of me. I choose to stand on your side. It's that simple. As the three-eyed ape spoke, he suddenly reached out and pierced the black line between his eyebrows. Puchi! Dark red blood sprayed over half of Lin Yuan's snake body. When he recovered, the three-eyed ape was already holding a gray stone bead and placing it in front of Lin Yuan. This is one of the inheritances of my Shattered Stone Clan. It is called the Eye of Petrification. Once you pour in your demonic power, you can open the eye. After opening the eye, it will release a petrifying light. No matter what monster beast it is, it will turn into a stone statue. It's just that the time it takes to turn into a stone statue depends on the strength of the realm. Just treat it as a greeting gift from the old monkey. The three-eyed ape gently tossed the Eye of Petrification in his hand, and the latter immediately floated above Lin Yuan's head. Compared to Mendu's confusion, Lin Yuan was more shocked. Was this three-eyed ape really a monster beast? Faced with a junior who was growing at an extremely terrifying speed, anyone would feel that this junior would threaten their position as the overlord. Therefore, they would often destroy this outstanding junior at all costs. However, the phrase beat a snake to death was applicable everywhere. Once they couldn't completely destroy this outstanding junior, the two sides would form an irreconcilable hatred. The destruction of a power could often only be because of a momentary selfish desire of the person in power. However, the three-eyed ape chose to be on good terms with Lin Yuan when the same multiple-choice question was placed in front of it. In the future, if Lin Yuan could transform into a dragon, not only would the Shattered Stone tribe be able to maintain their current position, they would even be able to advance a step further under Lin Yuan's reverse nurturing, expanding their territory to an even more vast area. This kind of multiple-choice question, the majority of humans couldn't do it well, but a monster beast could think it through so thoroughly. The name of a wise man was indeed not in vain. I understand. Lin Yuan slightly lowered his snake head, and a strange color flashed through his blue-white vertical pupils. Ding! Detecting that the host has obtained the E-grade tool, Eye of Petrification. Do you wish to equip it? The system's ice-cold electronically synthesized voice sounded again. Equip. Lin Yuan glanced at the Eye of Petrification floating above his head. Speaking of which, petrifying opponents seem to be a traditional skill of snake demons? For example, the Medusa of Western mythology. However, although this Eye of Petrification had to comply with the difference in strength, it didn't need others to look at it. It only needed it to look at others. Following the system's confirmation, the Eye of Petrification floating above Lin Yuan's head suddenly turned into a gray light that shone on Lin Yuan's head. After a moment, the black snake scales on Lin Yuan's forehead slowly turned into a lime color. Pieces of prismatic scales formed an eyeball imprint on Lin Yuan's head. Chapter 77. Host, Lin Yuan status. Heavenly Black Python in the process of transforming into a flood dragon. Realm. 10 out of 10 innate skills. 1. Identify enemy's location based on smell. Cannot advance. 2. Create an accurate image of a 500-meter radius based on smell. 0/100. 3. Water/ice control. 0/100. 4. Sacrificial blood wish technique. Make a wish with your own blood or another creature's blood, can be replaced with attribute points. Whether or not the wish is fulfilled depends on the strength of the wish and the quality of the sacrifice. 5. Flood Dragon Scale Armor. When the scale armor is in good condition, it can provide the host with a 20% increase in defense. Speed, 14, 10, defense, 23 plus 5. 6 attack, 14, 10, distributable points. 5 martial arts, golden body secrets, 55/75, skills, 1. Death coil, 138 to 300, 2. Poison of poisoned wine, 0/300, 3. Tail strike, 21 out of 100, 4. Blood boil technique, 1/100, 5. All things have spirit, can communicate with other creatures through thought, cannot advance. Items. Damaged light feather can be repaired. Petrified eye name. Light feather, already destroyed, effect. Speed +1 upon equipping, additional skill. Light feather wind skill. Light feather wind. When you fall from a high place, you can glide for a short time. Note, the cost of repairing an item is 10 attribute points. Name. Petrified eye effect. No equipment effects, additional skills. Sharp perception, petrified light skills. 1. Sharp perception. You who have a third eye, have vision and senses that normal people can't reach. 2. Petrified light. Use Yao Qi to activate the petrified eye, which can shoot out a ray of light that can petrify living creatures. Mission panel. Name, Alsapen's form stage 2 description. You use the body of a rank 10 monster to kill a wisdom realm monster and won. The current you has already made a name for yourself in the Hengduan mountain range. Most of the wisdom realm monsters have already acknowledged your existence. Weak monsters will tremble when they see you. Strong monsters will show you some respect when they see you. But to you, the new king of the jungle, this is far from enough. What you need is submission, not respect. Go you come you see you conquer. Mission requirement, defeat or absorb 3 monster clans. Mission reward. Faction relationship model, advance to wisdom realm. Failure penalty. Lose the qualification to evolve. Mission progress. 1/3 time limit, 1 month. Seeing the new urgent mission, Lin Yuan felt his face twitching crazily. There were many demonic beasts in the Hengduan mountain range. One could casually encounter large and small clans. However, there weren't many that could be called a demonic beast clan. After all, in order to become a clan, the clan must first have 3 great demonic beasts of wisdom realm and above. The total number of demonic beasts in the clan must be no less than 200. They must have a territory, and this territory must have a complete ecological chain. It couldn't be a dead land. The demons that Lin Yuan had hunted before could only be considered as stragglers at best. Killing them was not a big deal. However, if he were to start a war with the clan, that would be a different matter. At the same time, not far from the territory of the Stony clan, the remaining leaders of the 3 clans in this area all gathered on a small mountain. They were the leader of the Winterwolf clan, Blizzard, the leader of the Winterwolf clan, Chen Yan, the leader of the Black Tortoise clan, and the leader of the Hunting Wind clan, Pingqiu, the leader of the Black Fox clan, who had always appeared and disappeared mysteriously. The 3 great demonic beasts at the peak of Wisdom Realm sat together. They looked at each other, but no one spoke first. Stop talking. This king will speak first. Blizzard narrowed his wolf eyes and said in a cold tone, "You guys know about the black snake that became famous recently, right? This king has already received accurate information. That black snake has already joined forces with the Stony clan. Perhaps soon when you and I see that black snake, we will have to bow respectfully." So what? We demonic beasts have always been like this. As long as we are strong, we will be respected. Chen Yan glanced at Blizzard and said in a low muffled voice. "TSK, Chen Yan, are you pretending to be dumb or have you really become dumb from sleeping?" The Blizzard Wolf King clearly wants to say that the old monkey has been suppressing us all our lives. When the old monkey was about to die, the Stony clan came out. Although the old monkey isn't as strong as the old monkey and can continue to suppress the three of us, the Winter Wolf clan still has a chance to replace the old monkey. Now that the Stony clan has the help of that black snake, the Stony clan's fighting strength has reached a new level. The Blizzard Wolf clan still has to be the Dog King, not the Wolf King that it fantasizes about. Ping Qiu narrowed his fox eyes. He looked like he was smiling, but his voice was cold. Chen Yen turned his huge head to the side and said slowly, "So our Dog King wants to trick us into joining forces with it. He wants us to start a war with the Stony clan. The best-case scenario is that we and the Stony clan both suffer losses so that he can reap the benefits?" As soon as he finished speaking, Blizzard's eyes flashed with a hint of gloominess. He, we can't help it. Our Dog King thinks that he's the only one with brains." Ping Qiu chuckled and looked at Blizzard with a mocking gaze. As the leader of the Winter Wolf clan, Blizzard was naturally embarrassed to be mocked in front of everyone. However, it wasn't good for him to make trouble now. He could only say with a gloomy face, "Who are you talking to? If the two of you were willing to continue watching those apes dominate this area, you wouldn't have bothered to talk to me. Why would you gather here?" Chen Yen and Ping Qiu snorted at the same time, but they didn't say anything. The Stony clan was able to dominate this area mainly because of the existence of the three-eyed ape. When it reached adulthood, it could even easily crush the leaders of the Winter Wolf, Stony Rock, and Hunting Wind clans. Therefore, their fathers had been suppressed by the three-eyed ape for their entire lives. In their generation, they were still suppressed by the three-eyed ape for most of their lives. It wasn't easy for the three-eyed ape to reach the end of its lifespan. The appearance of the Mendu clan instantly dispelled their thoughts of destroying the Stony clan. The balance between the four sides was not bad. However, the most important problem now was that the Stony clan had formed a good relationship with the Black Snake clan. Whether it was the Mendu clan or the Black Snake clan, they were both kings. If these two clans joined forces, the balance would be broken. To put it more seriously, although the Hengduan Mountains was vast, the territory was not endless. There were only so many places suitable for the demon beast to breed. For example, this area could only accommodate the existence of 4 clans. If the Black Snake clan was determined to take root here, then they could join forces with the Stony clan and kick one of the 3 clans out at any time. It was fine if they couldn't become the new overlord. After all, they could only dream about it for so many years. However, when it involved their own interests, it was a different matter. No one wanted to be the loser who was kicked out of the game. Chapter 78. Because the host's existence has hindered the next deployment of the Winterwolf clan, the relationship between the Winterwolf clan and the host has decreased by 15 points. The current relationship is hostile. Because the Winterwolf clan leader Blizzard has fanned the flames, the relationship between the host and the Boulder clan has decreased by 15 points. The current relationship is cold. Because the Winterwolf clan leader Blizzard has fanned the flames, the relationship between the host and the Huntwind clan has decreased by 15 points. The current relationship is cold. Ding. Congratulations to the host. You have become enemies with 3 of the 4 major clans in this area. The faction battle model has been unlocked. Please enter the faction battle model to view the details. Question marks began to appear on top of Lin Yuan's head. He still didn't know how to complete the system's promotion mission. In the end, except for the Boulder clan, the other 3 major clans were all standing on the opposite side of him. Wasn't this a hellish start? No. Lin Yuan's blue-white vertical pupils suddenly shrank, staring at the 3-eyed ape whose face was covered in blood. The huge snake body began to tremble slightly. No matter what kind of demon beast it would abide by the law of the jungle. If a demon beast was too old, then it would be exiled by its original clan to another area and be left to fend for itself. The rations freed up could be used to provide for the needs of the clan's young. Although the 3-eyed ape looked old, it was able to sit in the position of the Boulder clan's leader. Even such a strong person like Mendu followed its lead. It was enough to prove that this 3-eyed ape was definitely a super strong person. However, after handing over the eyes of petrification to Lin Yuan, the 3-eyed ape did not just look old. At the moment, it looked like an old man with 1 foot in the grave, and it seemed that it could die suddenly in front of Lin Yuan at any time. He seemed to have been tricked by this old guy. Although he had hunted a few hunting teams of the Winterwolf clan and had always been at odds with them, the conflict had not been brought to the surface. Why did the Wolf King called Blizzard provoke the hostility of the other two clans towards him? Obviously, the three-eyed ape didn't have many days left to live. Today it suddenly came to show goodwill, not only because it saw Lin Yuan's future potential, but also because it didn't believe that after it died, with only Mendu's strength and wisdom, it could continue to maintain the Boulder clan's position as the overlord of this area. This old man was here to drag him down with him. However, he had already received the benefits, so there was no way he could return it. He could only suffer in silence and swallow the bitterness into his stomach. With your aptitude, it's only a matter of time before you establish a force. Here, you have the help of the Gravel clan. In fact, it's quite easy to settle down here. If you were in another place, the result would be hard to say. I think this is one of the reasons why you approached Batu, isn't it? I will give you all the benefits you deserve, and all I ask is for you to fulfill your duty as our ally. If you don't believe me, you can withdraw from this area and watch from the sidelines. When the three of them divide up my Gravel clan, you can see if I've coaxed you. After looking at Lin Yuan for a moment, the three-eyed ape seemed to have guessed what Lin Yuan was thinking. Lin Yuan was speechless. After a long while, he nodded heavily. Although the growth of the green leaf water lotus was extremely slow, it was indeed a rare opportunity. Lin Yuan couldn't give it up. So he wanted to develop his force in the Hengduan Mountains. This place connected to the monster forest was his best springboard. If he went to other areas, even if he could conquer a territory, Lin Yuan couldn't accept it. After all, there was a territory of other monster beasts in between. If something happened to the green leaf water lotus, Lin Yuan would have to look at the other party's face before he could go back to help. The three-eyed ape sneered and waved to the guard at the side. They left the place one after another. Force relationship model, Blackwater Dragon Palace, can be renamed leader, Lin Yuan, member, Batu 100 Mountain Shaking Ape Gravel Clan. Leader, Bayard, member. Gentle, Frost Wolf Winter Wolf Clan. Leader, Blizzard, member. Hatred, Black Fox Hunting Wind Clan. Leader, Pingqiu, member. Cold, Black Tortoise Boulder Clan. Leader, Chen Yen, member. Cold Demon Subduing Master Iron Hand Regiment. Leader, Iron Hand, member. Hatred Mountain Blocking Cities Lu Clan. Mortal Enemy, Mountain Blocking Cities City Lord Residence. Mortal Enemy, Force Battle Model, Name, Stoneclaw Forest Scramble, Yet to Begin, Attacking Forces. Winter Wolf, Crevice, Boulder, Weak, Defending Forces. Gravel, Blackwater, Weak, Evaluation, Evenly Matched Opponents. Note: the evaluation of the force's strength is based on the average of all the forces in the Tianwu continent. It is divided into 5 grades: extremely weak, weak, average, strong, invincible. If the host obtains victory in this battle, the host will receive 300 war points. If the host loses in this battle, the host will have to pay 300 war points. Note: the war points can be used to purchase special items. If the host's war points are 0, the penalty for failure will be deducted from the host's attribute points. The current ratio is 1 attribute point for every 10 war points. The host can exchange war points for attribute points. The current ratio is 1 attribute point for every 100 war points. Note: the host cannot exchange attribute points for war points. Trash. After glancing at the newly unlocked force battle model, Lin Yuan snorted in disdain. The combined strength of the 3 clans was only equal to the Gravel clan. With this, they still wanted to be the overlord? However, very quickly, Lin Yuan's vertical pupils flashed with a hint of astonishment. Something seemed to be wrong? The Gravel clan was only able to fight evenly with the other 3 clans because of the existence of the three-eyed ape. However, the other 3 clans were not fools. As long as the three-eyed ape was alive, they would not bare their fangs. F***CK. After thinking for a while, Lin Yuan finally could not hold back and curse it out loud. If he lost this battle, not only would it affect his future plans, it would also directly deduct 30 attribute points. It was equivalent to directly kicking him from a grade 10 demonic beast to a grade 6 demonic beast. Moreover, when the second stage of the promotion mission ended, the system would directly unbind him. At that time, Even if Lin Yuan could return to the demonic beast forest alive, he would be separated from the top of the food chain. At most, he would be considered as a high-level predator. Moreover, he would have to face the pursuit of the city lord of mountain-blocking city, the Lu clan, and the three clans if he won. Before this battle of forces even started, Lin Yuan had already seen through it. This was another trap that the system had arranged for him. Chapter 79. There was only one option in this war, and that was to win. If he won, he would get everything he wanted. Not only would Lin Yuan be able to take root here and start building his forces, but he would also be able to complete the system's advancement mission and step into the wisdom state, becoming the top predator in this area. If he lost, he would have nothing left. He would have to dance on a tightrope for as long as he could. At most it would be 2 years. If he didn't die in the hands of humans, he would die in the hands of demonic beasts. Even leaving a complete corpse would be a luxury. Stupid system, come out. Lin Yuan muttered in his heart. The system didn't say anything, but Lin Yuan heard the sound of electricity. He had a feeling that the Russian doll was scolding him, but all the words had been blocked. That's it? I unlocked a new function model, and there's no reward at all? Lin Yuan blinked and asked with a grin. The system was silent for a while, as if it was stunned by Lin Yuan's shamelessness. After a long while, the system faintly replied, "Ding! Congratulations to the host. You have successfully unlocked the battle model of the forces. You have obtained Basic Map Scan X1. The Basic Map Scan was a good thing. When Lin Yuan first came to this world, he relied on the Basic Map Scan reward to avoid a large number of demonic beasts that could easily kill him. However, after entering the Hengduan Mountains, he had already exceeded the range of his first Basic Map Scan. The system would only give him a notification when the demonic beasts entered his sensing range. If he really met a tough opponent, a distance of more than 1,000 meters would not be enough for him to run. Without saying a word, Lin Yuan directly used the basic map scanning props. Ding! Scanning current map. Ding! Map scan complete, loading. Ding! Loading complete. After the system's upgrade, the scanning speed of the map was much faster, and the range was much wider. The last time Lin Yuan was in the demonic beast forest, he only scanned a few hundred miles. But this time, Lin Yuan received a full 3,000 miles. Within this 3,000 miles, the system would give him a warning the moment something that could threaten him appeared. Let me take a look. Lin Yuan closed his eyes and focused his mind on the newly appeared map. Although the system map wasn't so freakish that it could perform real-time reconnaissance without any vision, the moment it scanned, it had already frozen all the images within a radius of 3,000 miles. As a result, every time Lin Yuan took the initiative to check the map, he would see these images. The frozen images would only change when Lin Yuan saw or sensed them. I really don't know if I'm lucky or if you guys are unlucky. Lin Yuan suddenly sneered, opened his eyes, and took the initiative to exit the new map screen. The area he was currently living in was one of the forbidden areas of the Shattered Stone Clan. Only when certain rituals were being carried out would the Shattered Stone Clan be allowed to enter this area. If foreign demonic beasts wanted to enter this area, they would have to go through a bloodbath of the Shattered Stone Clan. Walking 10 miles out, one could reach the Shattered Stone Clan's territory. That was where most of the cubs and mother demonic beasts lived. There was also no lack of some mountain-shaking apes that had entered the aging stage. Their bodies were riddled with scars, but they were still strong. They were teaching the cubs hunting and survival experience. It looked like a happy and harmonious scene. The three-eyed ape that forcefully dragged Lin Yuan into the water seemed to live here. Walking another 30 miles out, it was the main activity area of the adult mountain-shaking apes. Similar to Mendu's fighting strength, they lived in this area. They were the first line of defense against foreign forces. Even if they encountered an opponent that they couldn't contend with, they would still buy enough time for the cubs to retreat. And the place where these adult male mountain-shaking apes were stationed was about 100 miles out. There was a small hill. The three clans that were preparing to go to war with the Shattered Stone Clan after the three-eyed ape's death were temporarily stationed on this small hill. From this point of view, the three-eyed ape really didn't have many days left to live. Those three clans couldn't wait any longer. It was estimated that after confirming the three-eyed ape's death, they would impatiently launch an attack. Lin Yuan twisted his pitch-black snake body and slowly disappeared into the jungle ahead. He had an immature but bold idea. 2 days later, all the adult mountain shaking apes of the Shattered Stone clan didn't participate in the hunt. Instead, they silently came to the place where the cubs and women and children lived. It seemed like they were waiting for something. Lin Yuan's huge snake body dragged a simple wooden coffin as he slowly walked out of the forbidden area. The leader of the group of adult mountain shaking apes, led by Mendu, followed closely behind Lin Yuan. Mendu's pair of bright black eyes flickered with a black light. He lowered his voice and said, "Although we demon beasts don't pay attention to auspiciousness or inauspiciousness, there has to be an explanation for the matter of you making the wise man play dead. Today, if the 3 clans don't attack us, you definitely won't have a good time." Attack. Lin Yuan's blue-white vertical pupils flashed with a cold light. He asked back, "Why are they attacking us? Why aren't we taking the initiative to attack them? The longer this drags on, the worse it will be for us. A quick battle is the key to our victory." "They're here." Mendo's expression suddenly turned serious. He raised his head and looked at the group of demonic beasts that appeared on the mountain path. There were about 20 of them, and all of them were wisdom-awakening demonic beasts. The leader was a huge wolf with shiny silver fur. "Good fellow." When the Black Snake said that the 3 clans had set up a temporary camp beside the Stone Shattering clan, it said that the 3 clans wouldn't have the guts to do so. After all, after being caught by the mountain shaking apes, it would be a slap to the mouth of the 3 clans for no reason. Even the clans behind them wouldn't be able to find fault with it. But now, Mendu believed Lin Yuan's words. When the 3-eyed ape died, there would indeed be many demon beasts coming to watch the ceremony. If there was enough time, there would also be many powerful beings coming from the deeper regions of the Hengduan mountain range. However, 20 Wisdom Realm demons appeared on the mountain path that they had to pass if they wanted to go down the mountain almost at the same time the coffin came out of the forbidden area. Moreover, they were all members of the Black Tiger, Frost Wolf, and Black Tortoise clans. If there wasn't something fishy going on, it would cut off its head and let them play with it like a ball. Amen. There are more than I expected. But it's not a big problem. Lin Yuan narrowed his eyes slightly, and his pair of blue and white pupils instantly shrank into the shape of a needle. A vicious aura suddenly emanated from his body. Chapter 80. Black Snake, Mendu, where are you guys going? The leading frost wolf licked its blood-stained claws, as if it had just eaten its fill. Even its voice sounded a little lazy. "Our clan sage has died of old age and has already seen the ancestral spirit. Now, we are going to bring the sage to the ancestral land to be buried. Why are you guys here?" Mendo narrowed his eyes and asked faintly. Hearing this, no matter if it was the leading frost wolf or the demonic beasts following behind it, their eyes all revealed a trace of uncontrollable joy. Lin Yuan took in this scene and sneered in his heart. It was said that wisdom state demonic beasts had intelligence similar to humans, but Lin Yuan couldn't verify this. After all, he was a different species whose soul had transmigrated. Let alone wisdom state, even if he was just an ordinary beast now, he still had the intelligence of a human. But then again, intelligence was one thing, experience was another. For an existence like the Shattered Stone Clan sage, ordinary humans could easily be fooled by it, but these ordinary wisdom state demonic beasts couldn't even control their most basic emotions. Hearing that the sage's thigh had fallen, it immediately revealed a happy expression. It was also fortunate that it was a demonic beast. Otherwise, with this kind of emotional intelligence, it wouldn't be able to live to adulthood. The frost wolf put down its claws and slowly said, "Sir Sage has always been the overlord of our Stone Claw Forest. Something like him going to see the ancestral spirit. Your Shattered Stone Clan actually did it yourself?" "No. I won't agree. I want to see Sir Sage for the last time." After saying this, Lin Yuan almost couldn't hold back his laughter. Call it stupid, but it clearly knew that it couldn't just believe Mendu's one-sided words and go back to pass on the information. It had to see the 3-eyed ape die with its own eyes before it could be at ease. But saying this in front of the other party was simply asking for a beating. The other party's mood was already bad after their own elder passed away. Now that the coffin was closed, you suddenly ran out to open the coffin to see the deceased. If it was someone with a bad temper, they would probably send you on your way. Alas! Mendu sighed and slowly moved aside. White Claw, you were taught by the wise man when you were young, so I agree to let you see him one last time. But you must promise me to leave after one glance and not disturb his rest. Okay. White Claw nodded with a smile. It didn't have any strange hobbies. Although the flesh and blood of a peak wisdom demonic beast was a great supplement, if it ate the sage's flesh and blood in front of the Gravel clan, it definitely wouldn't be able to walk out of here today. However, if it could confirm the news of the three-eyed ape's true death, then it would be a truly great merit. As soon as he finished his sentence, White Claw rushed to the side of the wooden coffin impatiently and violently flipped the lid over. However, before it could look down to see if there was really a corpse in the coffin, a large hand with gray fur reached out and grabbed its neck. Crack! A crisp sound rang out. This Wisdom Realm Frost Wolf didn't even have a chance to struggle before its neck was broken and it died on the spot. Do it! The three-eyed ape's muffled voice rang out from the coffin. Under the horrified gazes of the Wisdom Realm demonic beasts that followed White Claw, countless mountain-shaking apes pounced on them. Even Lin Yuan moved his snake body and coiled around two black foxes that were trying to escape. Death Entanglement was instantly activated and began to squeeze the internal organs of the two black foxes. Lin Yuan was quite confident in his Flood Dragon scale armor against these demonic beasts that didn't rely on physical combat as their main method of hunting. Ding! Congratulations to host for killing a Wisdom Realm Black Fox. The reward is 5 attribute points. Ding! Congratulations to host for killing a Wisdom Realm Black Fox. The reward is 5 attribute points. The two notifications rang out one after the other. However, Lin Yuan's movements were extremely fast. He even put his original 5 attribute points into the Golden Body technique. The advancement mission hadn't been completed yet, so Lin Yuan didn't know how many attribute points he needed to advance to the Wisdom Realm. He didn't even know how many attribute points he could store. Fortunately, after activating the proficiency model, Lin Yuan didn't care whether the attribute points would be wasted or not. Anyway, these skills were as terrifying as a bottomless pit to Lin Yuan at this stage. By the time Lin Yuan released the two black fox corpses, the battle on the other side had already completely ended. Taking advantage of the shock brought by the three-eyed ape zombie attack on White Claw, the Wisdom Realm demonic beasts arranged by the three great clans didn't even have the chance to fight back. They were directly controlled and killed one by one. In the entire process, only the three weaker mountain-shaking apes suffered light injuries. Looking at the entire Shattered Stone clan, the total number of Wisdom Realm demonic beasts didn't exceed 40. The three great clans combined might have a little more than the Shattered Stone clan. However, after this wave, even without the three-eyed ape, the strength of both sides was infinitely close. Lin Yuan already had a 60% chance of winning in this unintentional war. Let's go. We'll directly attack the temporary camp of the three great clans. Lin Yuan called out to Men Do. After resting for a few days, his injuries had almost completely healed, and he was much stronger than before. Killing a demonic beast like the Black Fox didn't require much effort, but facing a peak Wisdom Realm demonic beast like Men Do, Lin Yuan didn't feel like he had much chance of winning even if he ambushed him. Even if he activated the blood boiling technique, he would only have a 50% chance of winning. After 3 minutes, he would immediately be torn to shreds by the enraged Men Do. The leaders of the three great clans were more or less at the same level. As such, in the following battle, Men Do and the three-eyed ape would be the main force. Lin Yuan felt like he had picked up some scraps. Getting a few attribute points was already good enough. In any case, his realm wasn't high enough. Killing an early-stage Wisdom Realm demonic beast would give him 5 attribute points. Killing a peak-stage Wisdom Realm demonic beast would also give him 5 attribute points. Under these circumstances, why should he risk his life? Wasn't it better to fish in troubled waters? Under Men Do's lead, the mountain-shaking apes, who were already prepared, roared and charged into the forest outside. Lin Yuan also slowly wriggled his snake body, following behind the mountain-shaking apes. Wisdom Realm demonic beasts had a common ability. They could freely control the size of their bodies. Even though they couldn't be smaller than normal beasts, they were still much more concealed than giant beasts that were hundreds of meters tall. Even though their strength would decrease after shrinking, they could still switch into their giant beast form whenever they wanted to in battle. It couldn't be any more convenient. During this wave of sneak attacks, Lin Yuan couldn't show up at will before they fought with the three major clans in Mendu. He was afraid that he would expose this sneak attack. Chapter 81. Apes were omnivorous animals. In terms of aggression, they were not as aggressive as those pure carnivorous animals. However, it was almost impossible to find a better hunter than them in the jungle. Hundreds of mountain-shaking apes swept into the jungle in front of Lin Yuan. It was like a clay ox entering the sea. They did not even make the slightest sound, as if they had directly merged with the jungle. Lin Yuan walked and stopped. His pair of blue and white vertical pupils looked at the mountain in the distance. His mind was spinning rapidly, thinking about what kind of response the allied forces of the three clans would make after being attacked by the Shattering Stone clan. Fight to the death? Abandon the enemy to survive? As his thoughts spread out, Lin Yuan closed his eyes again and began to carefully observe the map. About 5 minutes later, a black fox patrolling the jungle quietly hid under a big tree. It lazily narrowed its eyes, as if it was preparing to take a nap and pass this difficult time. However, it did not notice that a pair of black eyes suddenly lit up in the crown of the big tree it was leaning against. Meng Do looked around. After confirming that there were no other demonic beasts in the surroundings, it used its legs to clamp down on the tree trunk and slowly slid down. A pair of large hands covered in silver fur slowly reached down and grabbed the neck of the black fox at lightning speed. Without waiting for the black fox to react, it directly twisted its neck. Dragging its dead body, it climbed back into the crown of the tree and hid, quietly waiting for the next prey. In its eyes, the allied forces of the three clans were nothing more than a motley crowd. Almost all of the black foxes patrolling the jungle were the Hunting Wind clan's black foxes. It was very obvious that Blizzard and Chen Yen did not expect the Shattering Stone clan to take the initiative to attack. They also did not believe that this method of hiding under the light from the humans would be so clumsy. Instead of letting the demonic beasts under their command patrol, it was better to let them recuperate on the mountain and wait for the opportunity to immediately attack the Shattering Stone clan. Heh! Meng Do sneered and gestured with his hand. Then, he quickly leaped onto another tree and approached the campsite of the three great clans in a careful but not slow manner. Following Meng Do's movements, more and more mountain-shaking apes jumped between the trees. These apes, which were not thin and weak, were as nimble as a gust of wind. As they moved, there was not even the slightest bit of movement. Even when they jumped from one tree to another, not even a single leaf fell from the tree. In just 5 minutes, the number of black foxes that had been killed by the mountain-shaking apes was in the double digits. Although most of them were only level 7 beasts and could not determine the outcome of the battle, it was enough to make the Hunter-Wind clan feel the pinch. At the same time, in the camp on the mountain, Blizzard was lying on a tiger pelt. He squinted his eyes lazily and said in a deep voice, "My spies have confirmed that Meng Do and the Black Snake are holding a ceremony for the old ape's funeral. In my opinion, we should take advantage of this opportunity to take a bite out of the Gravel clan. As time drags on, they may be prepared." Ping Qiu furrowed his brows and did not say anything. In his eyes, Blizzard was just a brute who did whatever he wanted. He was so naive to think that after the death of the three-eyed ape, the Gravel clan would be so weak that they could not withstand a single blow. He was probably already dreaming of becoming the overlord of this area. After a while, Ping Qiu suddenly patted his head with his claws and said with a gloomy face, "Not good. I'm afraid Meng Do has already brought his underlings to our campsite." "What nonsense are you talking about?" Blizzard chuckled coldly and mocked, "Ping Qiu, are you still in a dream? The old ape of the Gravel clan is dead and they are busy with the funeral. I've already arranged for White Claw to bring a group of intelligence perception demonic beasts to investigate the situation. It won't be long before the news of the old ape's death reaches us. Do you still think the Gravel clan has a chance to fight back? With just them?" "Shut up." Before Blizzard could finish, Chen Yen, who was also lying on the ground, suddenly stood up and interrupted Blizzard. Although he was not as resourceful as Ping Qiu, the Shen Turtle clan's talent was psychic divination. With his cultivation, he could not see the past or the future. However, he had a keen sense of danger in the face of life and death. The moment Ping Qiu spoke, he felt a great sense of danger. "Clan leader, Black Snake. Black Snake and the apes of the Gravel clan have rushed into the campsite." A black fox with glossy fur scrambled to the front of the three clan leaders. There was a trace of panic on his face. There were more than 30 black foxes patrolling at the foot of the mountain. They did not even give out a warning. When they noticed the mountain-shaking apes, they had already killed their way into the campsite. "How dare you!" Blizzard roared and scolded. "Weren't you patrolling at the foot of the mountain? Why didn't you send any message and let them rush into the campsite? Are all of you incompetent people? I think you guys are the ones who lured those mountain-shaking apes here. This king will kill you today and then fight off those mountain-shaking apes." Blizzard. With a dark face, Ping Qiu roared, "Don't blame your stupidity and mistakes on other people. If you were willing to listen to me and arrange your demon beasts to patrol with the young men of the Hunting Wind clan, how could the situation have developed to this point? What is the meaning of this? Are you planning to tear my Hunter Wind clan's men into pieces as a sacrifice to your flag? Do you want me to stretch my head out and let you kill me as a sacrifice?" Blizzard and Ping Qiu, the two beast kings who had formed a temporary alliance, had not even seen a single demon beast from the Gravel clan. They were already on the verge of falling out with each other. A black fox and a frost wolf tensed up their muscles and their hair stood on end. They looked at each other and began to walk in circles. Occasionally, they would raise their sharp claws as if they were ready to attack at any time. "Let's fight first." Chen Yen spoke again in a low muffled voice and took the initiative to be the peacemaker. The three clans were originally a temporary alliance. Once the Gravel clan was defeated, they would immediately fall out with each other and decide the final winner to become the new overlord of this area. But that was a matter for the future. Let alone falling apart, even if the three clans lost any one of their forces, they would not be able to compete with the Gravel clan. During the Three-Eyed Apes era, if the phase in this area were to be divided into 4 portions, the Shatterstone clan would take away 2 portions, and the remaining 2 portions would be split among the 3 clans. Therefore, as time passed, the strength gap between the 2 clans had gradually widened to the current state. Chapter 82. Lin Yuan followed behind the main force of the Stony Stone clan. From time to time, he would launch a tail attack, whipping the demonic beasts that had adjusted their condition to meet the attack. The weaker demonic beasts couldn't even withstand a tail attack from Lin Yuan and were directly turned into a pile of minced meat. However, demonic beasts of this level obviously couldn't provide Lin Yuan with attribute points. A pair of blue-white vertical pupils swept around, and the forms of demonic beasts flashed through Lin Yuan's mind. Not a single demonic beast of level 9 or above. It doesn't make sense. The allied forces of the 3 clans can't be so weak. Lin Yuan revealed a touch of a thoughtful look. The combined forces of the 3 clans could be equal to the Stony Stone clan, so there must be a lot of powerful demonic beasts. However, until now, the allied forces of the 3 clans had been attacked by the mountain-shaking apes, but not a single demonic beast of level 9 or above had appeared. It was as if the 3 clans had abandoned this place. Ding! Detected a level 9 demonic beast approaching 1,500 meters ahead. Ding! Detected a level 10 demonic beast approaching 1,500 meters ahead. Ding! Detected ahead. A series of system prompts sounded in Lin Yuan's mind. Lin Yuan was slightly startled. He subconsciously raised his head and looked at the black mass in front of him. These demonic beasts were actually playing the art of war? After the first round of killing, the mountain-shaking apes obviously didn't put the demonic beasts of the 3 clans in their eyes. The moment they saw these high-level demonic beasts appear, the bad-tempered mountain-shaking apes immediately roared. Without any hesitation or fear, they waved the stone sticks in their hands and counterattacked. When 2 armies were fighting, the formation was undoubtedly very important. Previously, when fighting for the blood spirit, 5 human soldiers wearing heavy armor could trap a wisdom state demonic beast. Although the demon beasts couldn't play with those 2 complicated things, it was not a problem for them to simply draw tigers and dogs. So Lin Yuan saw that the demon beasts were not as good as the mountain-shaking apes, but they were several times more in number. They scattered in 2s and 3s, dividing the mountain-shaking apes into small battle formations. On average, 3 or 4 demon beasts dealt with 1 mountain-shaking ape. Every time the mountain-shaking ape launched an attack, it would be attacked by 3 or 4 demon beasts at the same time. That's right. There was almost no defense to speak of. As long as the mountain-shaking ape dared to attack, they would attack at the first moment. It was a completely life-or-death battle. Gather. Regroup. Lin Yuan swung his serpentine tail as he roamed the battlefield. From time to time, he would destroy the enemy's formation and rescue the trapped mountain-shaking apes. Unfortunately, against two demonic beasts of the same cultivation level, Mendu is useless no matter how strong it is. Even if it can deal with the blizzard and Ping Qiu, it definitely won't be able to help you in a short period of time. Once I devour you, I will definitely be able to advance further. At that time, it will be easy for me to deal with the blizzard and Ping Qiu. Chen Yan laughed coldly. He looked at Lin Yuan with a burning gaze, his eyes full of greed. Blizzard and Ping Qiu both wanted to destroy the Stone Tribe so that their own tribe could become the overlord of this area. However, they were both mistaken about one thing. Right now, the most valuable thing in this area was definitely not the title of overlord. It was this black snake. This black snake had dragon blood in its body. Although it didn't know who the black snake's parents were, it could sense that Lin Yuan's body contained an incomparably dense amount of dragon blood. Tortoises and snakes seemed to be two different types of demonic beasts, but according to legends, they had the same ancestor, the dragon. Regardless of whether it was the 9 sons of the dragon described in the legends that Lin Yuan had heard of in his previous life, or the black tortoise, one of the 4 legendary demonic beasts, they were all tortoise demonic beasts. However, they all had dragon blood flowing in their bodies. The water dragon blood in Lin Yuan's body could not only attract other demonic beasts, but also Lin Yuan's blood. This was also the main reason why Chen Yan immediately ran out to look for Lin Yuan while the blizzard and Ping Qiu were busy dealing with Mendu in the Hengduan mountain range, where natural selection prevailed. Even the most simple-looking creatures would become purely selfish as long as they lived long enough. Chapter 83. Life was like chocolate. You would never know what the next piece would taste like. The moment he was stared at by Chen Yan, Lin Yuan felt as if he had eaten tea. But reality proved that even though Chen Yan was eyeing the water dragon bloodline in his body, the system was also eyeing Chen Yan. Ding, the host is facing a life and death crisis, triggering the special mission Cicada Intestine Turtle Belly. Name: Cicada Intestine Turtle Belly. Description: a demonic turtle with a thin dragon bloodline is eyeing the water dragon bloodline in your body. And to you who is destined to become the master of all beasts, this is undoubtedly a huge humiliation. Go fight. Tell this demonic turtle what a true dragon is. Mission requirement: kill Chen Yan. Mission restriction: cannot leave the battle on your own accord. Mission reward: randomly draw a system template. Failure punishment: death. What a coincidence. I also feel that after swallowing you, I can also advance a step. Lin Yuan's blue-white vertical pupils flashed with a faint cold light. Tail strike close distance. Death coil adjust body. The moment Lin Yuan's voice fell, the huge snake body had already wrapped around Chen Yan's body. But no matter how Lin Yuan retracted his snake body, he was unable to cause any damage to Chen Yan's turtle shell. You want to hurt me with just you? Chen Yan was caught off guard by Lin Yuan's sudden attack. At the beginning, he was still a bit flustered. After all, according to the legends, Lin Yuan killed an intelligent state demonic beast with the strength of a level 10 demonic beast. But after Lin Yuan's attack failed, the nervousness in Chen Yan's eyes completely disappeared. Rumors were after all just rumors. He didn't see it with his own eyes. Who knew if Lin Yuan really killed an intelligent state demonic beast? However, Chen Yan did not act like a fool. Seeing that Lin Yuan was unable to break through his defense, he did not have the intention to play around and allow Lin Yuan to attack him as he wished. Instead, he erupted with the agility that did not belong to a tortoise-type demon beast. He directly retracted his head, tail, and 4 limbs into the tortoise shell, and then frantically spun out like a spinning top. Lin Yuan was wrapped around Chen Yan's tortoise shell, spinning crazily with Chen Yan. In a short moment, Lin Yuan felt dizzy, and a few golden stars appeared in front of his eyes. Half of his vision turned black, and his head kept shaking. Although Lin Yuan's entanglement couldn't hurt Chen Yan, it didn't mean that Chen Yan couldn't feel it at all. As Lin Yuan entered the dizzy state, Chen Yan could clearly feel that the snake that was strangling him loosened a little. Instantly, he was overjoyed. He immediately controlled the rotating tortoise body and slammed it into the trees and rocks beside him, just like how Lin Yuan had killed those human warriors wrapped in heavy armor. How terrifying was the strength of an intelligence realm demon beast. In the blink of an eye, Lin Yuan had already slammed into the tortoise more than 10 times. Although he resisted the dizziness and activated the golden body secrets, the places that were not covered by the golden body secrets were still smashed into a bloody mess. Even in the dizziness state, Lin Yuan could clearly feel the pain. It was as if half of his organs had been smashed. Lin Yuan could even feel that his life was flowing away. Boom! Once again, he landed heavily on the ground. Lin Yuan opened his bloody mouth and spat out a large mouthful of blood, mixed with countless pieces of flesh and fragments of organs. Little black snake, you don't seem to be able to make it. Hee. Chen Yan glanced at Lin Yuan from the corner of his eyes, his mouth continuously laughing coldly. Lin Yuan was silent and did not say a word. His pair of blue-white vertical pupils were slightly blank, as if he was thinking about something. Seeing Lin Yuan's absent-minded appearance, Chen Yan did not know why a nameless fire rose up in his heart. At this time, this black snake was firmly suppressed by him, but not only did it not concentrate all of its attention to fight with him, it even had an indifferent appearance. He could not help but ask in a low voice, "Black snake, what are you thinking about?" "I'm thinking how you will die." In Lin Yuan's blue-white vertical pupils, a cold light suddenly flashed. In the next moment, the snake's body was like a black pillar, suddenly opening its bloody mouth and biting the head of Chen Yan, who was hiding in the tortoise shell. Furthermore, it crazily injected its own venom into the wound. "You're courting death." Chen Yan roared angrily and similarly opened his mouth, biting Lin Yuan's neck. One snake and one tortoise, like this, were in a strange stalemate. The surrounding demonic beasts looked at each other, but no one dared to provoke these two behemoths. The real elites were fighting with Mengdu City. Other than Chen Yan, most of the people gathered here were cannon fodder that Ping Qiu had arranged beforehand. Naturally, they did not dare to provoke the two big bosses at this time. The proficiency of the dove wine poison jumped wildly, but this amount of poison was obviously not enough to take the life of a huge monster like Chen Yan. Under the terrifying bite of the other party, Lin Yuan's dark golden snake body, which had been tempered by the golden body technique, kept creaking. Friendly reminder, the golden body technique has previously reached the small perfection realm. Although the host is now not far from the great perfection realm, the system feels that the host can temporarily put the attribute points aside in the face of danger. Does the host wish to advance the golden body technique in advance? The system's voice rang in his ear like a sudden clap of thunder, instantly waking Lin Yuan up. "What the hell? You're waiting for me here." Lin Yuan clearly remembered the system's last meaningful tone. This B***starred must have planned for this day, right? Creak, creak. The grinding sounds that made one's teeth ache continued to ring in their ears. Lin Yuan's face was ashen. He gritted his teeth and said, "System, advance the golden body technique for me." The moment he said that, Lin Yuan felt a warm current flowing around his body. The original dark golden color was instantly transformed into a light gold color. Although the color was still not good-looking, compared to the dirty dark golden color he had before, the light gold color now was obviously more pleasing to the eye. Looking good was secondary. The main thing was that Lin Yuan's defense had increased by another level. With the help of the dragon scale armor, Lin Yuan's defense was definitely not as strong as the black tortoises, but it was definitely not a match for him among the level 10 monsters. The second level of the golden body technique gave him a 45% damage reduction effect, and the screeching sound came to an abrupt end. Did it advance? Chen Yan's face sank, and he began to ponder. No monster would suddenly become stronger. The black snake's transformation clearly came from its advancement. Intelligent perception monsters were not as easy to distinguish as level 1 to level 10 monsters. If a monster at this stage wanted to distinguish between friend and foe, it could only use its heart to feel the monster energy spreading out from the other party's body. Chapter 84. The two giant beasts were in a stalemate, biting each other, and neither was willing to let go. The terrifying bite force could easily kill an airborne realm human, but in front of the tyrannical physique of the monster, this bite force seemed to be laughably weak. Even if Lin Yuan and Chen Yan were frantically shaking their heads, trying to tear a piece of flesh from each other, both of their efforts were in vain. As time passed, Chen Yan's eyes suddenly flashed with a touch of horror. He had always thought that the rumor that this black snake had defeated the Wisdom Realm monster was just a rumor made up by the three-eyed ape in order to stabilize the situation in the Stoneclaw Forest. But now, he gradually began to believe it. In addition to the innate ability of divination, the Xian Turtle Clan also had the terrifying defense that all turtle-type monsters had. Even if it left its hard shell, its skin could not be penetrated by anything. But Lin Yuan's snake fangs easily pierced into its flesh, and the pale golden scales on the black snake's body seemed to be not inferior to its shell in terms of defense. Ding! The Wisdom Realm monster Chen Yan is afraid. Does the host choose to end this battle? Friendly reminder. If the host ends this battle now, it will not be considered as taking the initiative to leave the battle. The mission will be cancelled, and the host will not be given any punishment or reward. The system's electronically synthesized voice slowly sounded. Lin Yuan's blue-white vertical pupils flashed with a touch of ridicule. The so-called Beast King. It was just a... He knew what Chen Yan was afraid of. After all, even if Pingqiu and Blizzard joined forces, they might not be able to take down Mendu. If he could not take down Lin Yuan in a short time, the top combat power of the three clans' allied forces would be restrained. In the previous wave of the White Claw, they had lost more than 20 Wisdom Realm monsters. Their current military strength could not be compared to the Stoneclaw clan at all. The longer the battle dragged on, the more disadvantageous it would be for the three clans. But the problem was, give up now? If it was before the system issued the quest, Lin Yuan might have chosen not to fight Chen Yan head-on. After all, facing a monster like him that specialized in defense, Lin Yuan would not be able to gain any advantage. However, now that he had suffered a loss, even the golden body technique had advanced in advance. In the future, if he wanted to use attribute points to strengthen the golden body technique, he would have to pay an additional attribute point as a price. If he did not obtain the system reward of a template draw, then he would have suffered a great loss. In that split second, Chen Yan actually took the initiative to let go of his mouth, allowing Lin Yuan to bite his head. He said in a muffled voice, "Black Snake, the war between the three clans and the Shattered Stone clan has nothing to do with you. Why do you want to stay here and risk your life against me? How about this? You let go of me, and after we defeat the Gravel clan, I will guarantee that you can establish your own force in this area. How about it?" Lin Yuan sneered in his heart, and continued to inject the dove wine poison into Chen Yan. When fighting monsters of a higher level, the speed of increase in proficiency would also increase significantly. Every time Lin Yuan's poison sac secreted poison, the proficiency on the attribute panel would jump around 3 to 5 points. Therefore, Lin Yuan firmly believed that even if his poison had no effect on Chen Yan, as long as he persevered, he would be able to poison Chen Yan to death sooner or later. He did not believe that with only a difference of a large level, Chen Yan could withstand the second advancement of the poison. If that was the case, was there still a need for poisonous snake monsters to exist? Good. It seems that you are determined to be enemies with me. Then, don't blame me. Chen Yan saw that Lin Yuan had no intention of stopping, and his eyes did not show any shame or anger. He did not open his mouth again like Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan was wrapped in the scales of the golden body technique, but his 4 feet fiercely stomped on the ground. Boom! A loud sound spread out for hundreds of meters, and it was still reverberating. With Lin Yuan and Chen Yan as the center, the land within hundreds of meters collapsed for nearly 1,000 meters out of thin air. Within this range, whether it was the demonic beasts under the command of the 3 major clans or the mountain-shaking apes that followed Lin Yuan to break out of the encirclement, as long as they fell, they would directly turn into meat paste. Moreover, they would not fall to their deaths. At this level of monsters, as long as their bodies spread out, they would be more than 100 meters long. A mere 1,000 meters was not enough to kill these naturally strong monsters. What really killed them were the earth spikes that extended from the broken soil. Even if it was a 10th level monster, under the cutting of the earth spikes, their skin would be as fragile as white paper. Fresh blood, minced meat, and internal organs covered the bottom of this sinkhole. Lin Yuan maintained the posture of biting Chen Yan, and followed Chen Yan to the bottom of the sinkhole. Those sharp earth spikes cut Lin Yuan's body, which was not covered by the golden body technique, full of holes. There were even dozens of earth spikes that penetrated Lin Yuan's pitch-black snake body. Even the scales of the flood dragon could not withstand their penetration. A little interesting. You can actually withstand my heaven-falling earth-sinking strike. Your flesh and blood must be very delicious. Chen Yan licked his lips with his tongue, and said in a cruel tone, "This is a talent that I have painstakingly cultivated. I can only use it once every 3 days. Originally, I wanted to leave it for that damn monkey in Mengdu, but using it on you is not too much of a waste. I gave you a chance just now, but you did not cherish it. Now." As Chen Yan's voice fell, the 4 walls of earth began to slowly move, as if they wanted to bury Chen Yan and Lin Yuan alive. However, Chen Yan was after all an earth attribute monster. Even if he was buried underground, he would be able to move freely for a short period of time like a fish in water. But Lin Yuan... Heh. Chen Yan looked at Lin Yuan who was biting him, and the greed in his eyes became more and more intense. It was as if Lin Yuan had become a delicacy in his eyes. The rain came. Lin Yuan's blue-white vertical pupils did not waver. Being buried alive in the sinkhole, that suffocation could easily take his life. However, Lin Yuan did not think that Chen Yan would live long enough to take his life. The moment the blood sacrifice wishing technique was activated, Chen Yan suddenly realized that whether it was his own blood, Lin Yuan's blood, or even the blood of the monsters that died in the sinkhole, all of it was instantly sucked clean by some strange force. Not even a trace of blood was left. Rumble, rumble. The clear sky was suddenly covered by dark clouds. Thick bolts of lightning struck down, turning the forest into a charred black color. However, before the mountain fire could spread, a downpour had already followed. Moreover, it was a terrifying downpour. In just a few breaths of time, the water in the sinkhole had already reached the top of Chen Yan's feet. If it had to be converted to an exact distance, it would be a height of about 3 to 4 meters. Chapter 85. Humph. Chen Yan snorted coldly. He heard that the last time Lin Yuan killed an intelligence perception demonic beast, there was also a rainstorm. Originally, he thought that it was just a coincidence, but now, how could he not guess that the 2 rainstorms were summoned by Lin Yuan? Summoning the clouds and summoning the rain did not sound like much. After all, no matter how heavy the rain was, it could not smash or drown the opponent. But with this kind of talent, to demonic beasts, the difference was like the difference between clouds and mud. Don't look at how humans crazily hunted demonic beasts, using the demonic beast's flesh and demonic beast core as capital to become stronger. However, when faced with a demonic beast that could summon clouds and summon rain, even the monarchs of the 7 great dynasties had to be somewhat courteous. They might even have to carve out a portion of their own territory and worship this demonic beast as the local god, allowing this demonic beast to protect the land and ensure that drought would not affect the farming and harvest of the land. The worship of the human dynasties was secondary. Chen Yan, who came from a large clan, was very clear that those demonic beasts that received the worship could really be reaped. The term god was very distant from demonic beasts, but after receiving the worship, the demonic beast's cultivation speed would rapidly increase. The more believers there were, the faster their cultivation speed would be. Therefore, any talent that could protect the land and water of a living being was envied by countless demonic beasts. Lin Yuan did not know what Chen Yan was thinking. Even if he knew, he would not care. Summoning the clouds and summoning the rain was a skill of the dragon clan. Even a flood dragon could do it easily. The previous rain took away a third of Lin Yuan's blood. But this rain, with the bloodline of the flood dragon, only took away a 7th of Lin Yuan's blood. In addition to the other blood sacrifices, the scale of this rain was several times larger than the previous rain. In the legends of his previous life, there was the existence of the heavenly law that restricted the dragon clan. For example, if the heavenly court wanted a place to suffer from a drought, if the local dragon king reigned, he would be captured by the heavenly soldiers and executed. But in this world, as long as Lin Yuan was willing, he could summon the rain at any time, or block the rain that was about to fall. Eat you as long as I eat you, all of this will be mine. Chen Yan's eyes turned red from jealousy, and even his voice became ferocious. The crazed Chen Yan even forgot to reserve any energy to deal with sudden situations. His eyes were red as he looked at Lin Yuan. The speed of the earth wall closing in on him increased dramatically, as if it could not wait any longer. You're crazy. Lin Yuan glanced at Chen Yan from the corner of his eyes. He took the initiative to let go of Chen Yan and retreated 2 meters. Chen Yan glanced at Lin Yuan, who suddenly retreated, and said in a low voice, "Black Snake, save it. I know what you're planning. However, My Shen turtle clan is also an aquatic demonic beast. Even if you fill this sinkhole with rainwater, I can still come and go as I please. The rainwater had accumulated to a depth of more than 30 meters at the bottom of the sinkhole, almost covering 1/5 of Chen Yan's body. The earth wall had already come into contact with Lin Yuan's snake tail, but those sharp earth spikes didn't succeed in piercing through Lin Yuan's second-order golden body technique. Bang! Soil flew everywhere. The earth wall behind him was smashed into pieces by Lin Yuan's tail. Although it didn't completely collapse, large amounts of soil had already fallen down, dyeing the water in the sinkhole a murky color. A pair of blue-white vertical pupils slowly looked up. Lin Yuan opened his mouth and lightly flicked out his snake tongue. He slowly asked with his mind, "If the water can't kill you, then, what about ice?" "Ice? What ice?" Chen Yan was slightly startled and didn't react. In the next moment, the 30-meter-deep water was lifted up by an invisible hand and instantly formed into a water ball, directly enveloping Chen Yan. Before Chen Yan could break out of the water, traces of white cold air, visible to the naked eye, spread out in all directions with the water ball as the center. Crack, crack. The huge water ball in the blink of an eye turned into a huge ice ball and directly enveloped Chen Yan. Innate talents weren't skills with fixed damage. Those skills would only improve by leaps and bounds when they were upgraded. However, innate abilities were different. When Lin Yuan became stronger, his innate ability would also become stronger. When he first planned to freeze Batu, he was still a Class 7 monster. Now, he was already a Class 10 monster. If the battle between him and Batu was repeated, he only needed a thought to easily freeze Batu to death. If Chen Yan was in his peak state, even if Lin Yuan used ice to control him, it would be useless. This was because he only needed to shake his body slightly to easily shatter the ice around him. However, at this moment, a large amount of poison had accumulated in Chen Yan's body. Although it wasn't fatal, if it wasn't expelled, it would still have some effect on his body. In addition, he released the Collapse of Heaven and Earth ability to instantly kill hundreds of monsters. Although it seemed very powerful, this kind of terrifying area of effectability was often accompanied by an intense consumption of energy. Otherwise, Chen Yan naturally wouldn't have been affected in the battle and directly become crazy. Kacha, kacha. The sound rang out once again, and cracks gradually appeared on the ice ball that was controlling Chen Yan. Lin Yuan didn't reveal the slightest trace of panic. On the contrary, there was only a faint ridicule in his eyes. It was as if he had already grasped victory in his hands. The terrifying rainstorm continued. When it fell on the bodies of other monsters, it would instantly wet their fur. Even some of the more agile frost wolves and black foxes began to become clumsy under this kind of storm. However, the mountain shaking apes were obviously not used to this kind of weather. Although the rain couldn't harm them, they couldn't even open their eyes in this kind of environment. They could only follow their instincts and wave the stone sticks in their hands. Fortunately, after Lin Yuan and Chen Yan disappeared from the battlefield, the mountain-shaking apes behind Lin Yuan once again followed their instincts and spread out to fight with the monsters of the three clans. Previously, the mountain-shaking apes gathered together because Lin Yuan took the lead. According to their battle habits, they still liked to spread out to different positions. After all, if their companions stood too close to each other, the stone sticks in their hands wouldn't be able to be used. And when the rainwater fell into the pit, it would turn into pieces of ice. It would attach to the huge ice ball in front of Lin Yuan and continue to strengthen the ice ball's control. No matter how Chen Yan crashed into the ice ball, the outer layer of ice would become thicker and thicker. Roar! Chen Yan roared angrily. Gathering all his strength, he chose a direction and suddenly launched a collision. This time, the ice ball didn't have time to control Chen Yan. He forcibly broke a hole in the ice ball. Half of the tortoise's body was once again exposed to the air. You're tuning in to the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.